blinking disparagingly at the day as I stumble from a Comic-Con back into the realm of life. I'm drawn to the Related Recap because a friend asked me to. This is Comic Related's Related Recap.
And welcome back to the Related Recap. I am Brant Fowler.
I'm Batman, also known as Chris Ventura.
And I am lost somewhere, but I'm Chuck Moore.
Chuck, what are you doing here?
I don't know, man. You called me.
Man, I got a stupid Skype now. No, I'm totally joking. We are, of course, glad to have Chuck, the originator of this podcast, back on the episode.
We're glad to have you back on the podcast.
Well,
I am a sad substitute for Terry Moore, who you were trying to get on the show this week.
Well,
yeah.
That's what it was. It was the wrong Moore I called.
Hey, you see? That's what I'm saying. You had Terry, you had Tony, and you ended up with Chuck.
I know. My alphabet's off. I went straight from T all the way up to C. I don't know what's going on.
That works.
But yeah, I'm back too, so we're both back.
Yeah, wow, cool. Yeah, that's true. We've been missing for a couple weeks in action.
Yeah.
Poor John. I think John's about to have a heart attack.
for anybody,
nothing like the two of us finding a life that abandoned CR for 2 weeks. John going, what? Where did it go?
Chuck. Yeah. John has single-handedly
yes,
kept
he has.
CR alive.
I got sick just as you disappeared, Brant. I got sick.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man.
Yeah, so John was all on his lonesome, and I think I did my one or two posts that I managed to get up, and Chris I think did a couple, and yeah, of course you had.
That's about it, and then I got sick.
Yeah, you had the con going on, so I mean, John fell down the fort, and he did a good job.
Yes, he did. He was kicking it. I have to admit. I mean, you at least did a couple stories. All he got out of me was promises. So.
But, he was like, it's all cool and everything, but when I got back, he was like, I'm so glad you're back. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I think he said something along those lines of, when I was saying, I'll be back early next week. Oh, don't worry, Brant's got it now. No, he didn't say that at all. I'm joking.
Honestly, he's still doing line share as I'm trying to catch up on everything.
I bet.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Now, Brant, my question... Oh, yeah. Sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
No, I'm just hanging.
Okay. My one question is, Brant, what the hell were you doing at the Fortress of Solitude in the first place?
Well, it was Superman month. I wanted to get to know the guy. I don't know what...
But he wasn't even there!
He could have been. Or maybe I just put one of those cool crystals. I don't know.
You talk with Consuela.
I'm not... You think I'm going to reveal my plans on air? What do you think?
All I want to know is which version of Kryptonite did you fall victim to?
We'll cover that another time. Some secrets are not for podcasts.
Okay, I got you.
You have my brother crying. He had to read comics he never read before.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I still haven't listened to that whole episode. I gotta go back and listen to it, see what you guys
think. No, you don't have to listen to it. No.
Oh, no,
it was good. No, it was good. It was a great episode. You did a good job. Down in history. And we'll never have to talk about it again.
Alright. So, what's been going on with you, Chuck? I mean, you haven't been busy or anything, I'm sure.
Oh my God. Today, not much. And that's the first time I can say that in a couple months. Actually, about 6 months. It has slowly gained intensity as we've gotten to Derby City Comic Con, which was an amazing show. And that was Saturday. This is Monday, and I'm just now getting to where I'm about to sit down and count the money, count the tickets, and see how many people we had at the show. I haven't even done that. I got the doors closed. I got Steve Scott and Dennis Calera up on their planes and headed back home, and looked back on all the craziness that happened during the show. It was a phenomenal show. It's exceeded my expectations in so many ways. I was to say I'm thrilled wouldn't even begin to start describing it. That was just amazing. Every bit of it was just a near holy experience for me. From the friends I got to hang out with to the crowd that just kept coming. I mean, we had some massive lines at the start of the day, and then I saw them begin to die down after a couple hours. I thought, okay, there's your lull. And about every 15 to 20 minutes, we'd have lines back to the door and back out the door. And it stayed that way all day. I mean, there was a point at, show ends at 5, and we're at 3:30, and I've got another line that's all the way to the door as people are trying to get tickets to come in. So it was, I couldn't have asked for a better show than what we got. So I'm thrilled.
So the show already happened, right?
Yeah.
No, that.
Oh, believe me. That I can tell you, it did happen.
No,
do you want to hear the crazy stories that happened during it? Or the fun stories? What do you guys want to hear? I should preface that you've got half a Chuck today because A, I'm tired, but B, Jenny decided to celebrate the successful show. And about midway through today, she took me for a massage, then took me on to the best steak dinner I've ever had in my life with, a Manhattan, some Cabernet Sauvignon, and now I'm drinking a very fine India Pale Ale. So
I hope my girlfriend is taking notes on this one because now that's good.
So this is the love I have for you guys, and the love I have for the recap. This was the day I swore I would do nothing, that I would just retreat from the world, and I have been. I've been reading comics a good chunk of the day and doing almost nothing. But Brant called, and I'm on the recap. So there you go.
Well, we greatly appreciate you coming on, man, and it's always good to talk to you. It's been forever. I know, but it's been forever since I've actually talked to you.
I know. Well, you've kind of been. You've been in the Fortress of Solitude, and you don't get good cell reception there. I tell you, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's called Fortress of Solitude for a reason.
Yeah,
it's solitude. But no.
Yeah. How many people
I hear they don't even get Wi-Fi there. No internet even at the Fortress of Solitude. It sucks.
The crystals interfere with it. It messes it.
You got it.
Well, so you mentioned you've been reading all day. What have you been reading? Anything good?
Let's see. Finished. This is kind of embarrassing because I will admit it because I basically had said a month or two ago, actually about 4 months ago, that I was going to write a column for CR on the final issues of Hellblazer.
Yeah.
And what the big finale meant to me.
Right.
I got to read issue 300 this morning.
Oh wow.
Just a little bit late, that's all.
Just a little late. But no, I read that. I read the first couple issues of Constantine, which, despite what a lot of people are saying, I actually, it is not Hellblazer. It is its own series. It is the Saturday morning cartoon version of the character that I love. But, I didn't hate the book. I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's not what I want ultimately, but it isn't a bad series by any means. It's what needed to happen to the character in some ways because it takes him out of a niche and puts him in the main DCU as a really strong character. I read the end of the Age of Ultron this morning and was thoroughly underwhelmed, but I think most people are. And Chris, you can disagree with me because you told me there's some stuff you disagree with and more.
Oh no, when it comes to Age of Ultron, I completely agree. I skipped the entire series except for the last issue, which actually...
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the series looks a lot better when you only read the last issue of the series.
It is a very Bendis thing, in my opinion, that basically I felt it started out strong. The first 3 issues I thought were killer. It was a nice mix of end-of-the-world Terminator throwing back to a twisted Marvel universe with enough promise. He had this concept early on that maybe a world where Ultron won was a better world than we got. And that was kind of teased in there when the heroes arrived in the future and they looked upon everything and it was this glistening city and everything looked perfect and everyone seemed happy, and there was that moment in there I thought, oh man, they're playing with a dark concept here. And then it went to complete crap from that point forward.
Yep. And then they were like, and then they were like, maybe the world would have been better without Hank Pym, and they did that whole thing.
Yeah, I know. It's just
getting everything down. And then this issue, no, not 10 AI. Actually, it was the reverse. Without Hank Pym, the entire world would have gone to hell. It's like, I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah.
See, I only read
let's take the one hero out of the Marvel Universe who actually beat up his wife and make him the one that the whole Marvel Universe had to hang their hat on to survive. But,
yeah, I hate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do too. But, no, I read the latest couple issues of Avengers, which continue. The Hickman stuff is hit and miss with me. I can't say whether I can never figure out whether I like it or not. So I keep reading.
I hate it.
I like New Avengers. I don't like Avengers.
Yes. I agree.
Gotcha. Wait, let's see. Which one is New Avengers the one that should be called the Illuminati?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Yes. I read those, and quite honestly, I like the whole world crashing, the domino effect of worlds thing. I mean, it is a little bit of rip-off of Crisis of Infinite Earths, but it's okay. I can live with that. The whole I want to kill Submariner in the latest issue, where it's, Wakanda versus Atlantia, or Atlanta, I'm not that thrilled with that latest turn in the story, but the last couple issues have been really good. Avengers Arena, I continue to love. I don't know why, I just love that book.
I just picked it up. I just started picking it up this week. I'm going to see if I actually like it.
Now, this week is a grim freaking issue. Or I say this week, I haven't got my books in like a week or two, so I don't know how far I really am behind. But these last 2 weeks have been a blur. But the week that Avengers Arena came out is the most recent week of books I picked up. But that was a grim issue where they took an established character from Runaways and just broke her leg, cut off her arm. It was almost a little too brutal for me. But
have you read Wolverine and the X-Men? They're doing something with another runaway character.
Oh man, no, I actually, that one is on, let me see, what have I got still read on Marvel right now? No, Wolverine and the X-Men 31 I have not read yet. I've got that sitting in my queue to read.
Brant, do you know what the name of the character is? I forgot her name. The one that Toad is with. You know.
Is it Skin or whatever?
Yeah. Scabby.
Is it Cannonball's sister?
Yeah.
Husk?
Husk,
yeah.
That's it, Husk.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, they're doing some weird stuff there.
Yeah, she's been kind of cracking up for a while now, so it's interesting to see. Let's see, what else? I mean, mostly I was catching up on some Marvel books today. Marvel sits first in my stack of queue to read, and I just was burning through those, and I was going to burn through DC, and then I was going to move to non-Marvel and DC stuff. But it's been a nice day, I'll give it that, man. I have not known what it's like to just sit and not feel like I have 80 things to do in this hour, and if one of them doesn't get done, something's going to fall apart. And that wears on you after a while running a con. I got to admit, as I got down to the wire, and even Sunday, I found myself having a hard time shaking. What did I do wrong, or what mistake have I made that I haven't thought of yet? Yeah. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how I'm going to do the timeline for next year's show, and what we're doing on that front, and how I'm actually going to live up to all the things I announced for 2014. But you're getting the brutally honest, Chuck, tonight. How's that?
Yeah, that's fine. Speaking of which, I don't know what these announcements are.
You do not know what the announcements are? Oh, well, let me tell you what these announcements are.
All right.
No, we announced a couple things we announced. One, that Derby City Comic Con is going to a 2-day show in 2014. It is going to be a 2-day show. And that we sat down with the convention center and worked out a 5-year plan with them for the future of the show. We know our dates for the next 5 years. In 2015, depending on how really, I don't have a lot of doubt. After what 2013 did and what we think 2014 will do, 2015, there's an upstairs to the convention center that's the new half of the convention center that we use, and it is about 2 to 3 times the floor space, depending on whether I want to remove a partition or not, of what we do. We were a 45,000 square foot show, and I think we can go up to 150,000 square feet to 200,000 square feet. It's got a beautiful domed ceiling. It has skylights all around. It feels like C2E2, the really nice C2E2 floor. And I really want to get there as soon as we can, because it would up the feel of the show. It's just such a bright place to have a con. So I'm going to do one more year in the current hall where we've been since day one, and then 2015 I want to move up, and we'll determine whether we're going to go, double the size or triple the size of the show floor.
Nice, awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. Now that would be a lot of good announcements, but that we didn't stop there. We announced we're doing a second show in 2014.
Oh wow! So you're actually going forward with that? Okay. Wow.
What we're doing in 2014 on November 29th. This will be after the Derby City Comic Con next year, so we'll have a full 2-day convention. In November of 2014, we're doing what we're tentatively calling Halfway to Derby. And what this is going to be, it's going to be a smaller non-convention center show. It's going to be probably about 2/3 the size of Derby City Comic Con. And we're going to do it on November 29th, just around the time of Black Friday. It's going to be about 50% toy vendors, 50% comic vendors. And we're going to celebrate local and regional art. No pretty much national creators. We're going to do all creators from the Louisville, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky area and celebrate local comic culture. And basically it is a vendor show that allows you to come and shop for Christmas and see some comic artists at the same time.
Oh, that's really cool. We had actually talked about that before, but I hadn't heard that you were actually going to go forward.
Yeah, we did announce it. The other thing I don't think I announced really broadly, but we're going to put on the website very soon, is beginning in October, all of the art that will be associated with Derby City Comic Con 2014 is going to be done through an open art contest. That will include our T-shirt design, our poster designs, the cover for our program, our flyer designs, everything. We're putting it out to local and regional artists and inviting them to go crazy and see what they can come up with. And we're going to have a panel of judges who are going to sit down and go through all the art. And we're going to everything we will do that will be art-wise for our 2014 show will be generated from the artist community.
Sweet.
Yep.
And then one day Chuck is going to open up a convention that goes off in New York City, and it's going to be called Comic Related Con, and everybody's going to be there. I'll be there, and it'll be in New York. We'll do it the same day as New York Comic Con.
Oh wow.
We'll compete. Everybody will come to our con because we'll get all the big Stanley.
That's next year's announcement, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, I got to top myself every year. So.
Of course.
Yeah. But no, that was the kind of thing where you're calling the shot before you do it, because all this stuff was printed in the program. This was me saying I'm going to do this before we even saw the numbers for this year's show, and thankfully, what we did in terms of television and we just when we started seeing the pre-sale numbers, we knew we had a great show here coming. This show has never done pre-sale tickets, hardly ever. We would get a trickling in, and we get some stuff through Groupon or something. But our Groupon sold out in 3 days, and we opened up the tickets online, and we sold between 400 and 500 tickets before we even opened the show door. So
now
it was good.
I know you said you haven't counted ticket sales and all that stuff yet. Do you have an estimate that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I do. It's easily. I would say it's easily probably in the 4,500 to 5,000 range. You have a pretty good idea just by looking at the money you have in hand when you get done. And I want to say we used numbered wristbands that had the Derby City Comic Con on it. So really, we just got to kind of compare what wristbands we have left, and that'll tell us the final total as well. And we had the little turnstiles at the entrance, but those are really unreliable because people come and go so much through the day. You can't really take those with any credit. So, yeah,
that's awesome.
But it's for a show that's historically done 3,000 attendees 2 years running, to jump up to 4,000 to 5,000 that's a turning point year, and that's what we wanted for the show. So.
Now, obviously I've seen a bunch of people talking about the show on Facebook, and everything I've heard from everybody that I've seen post has been positive. Everybody's had a great time. They can't wait to go back. That's really cool.
Yeah, it seemed to be a good buying crowd. I'll give Mike Madak, for example. I stopped by, and there was a lot of people who are friends who I know won't just tell me what I want to hear. If I've got a problem, they'll tell me. The Victor Dandridge is out there. And, I went to a couple comic book stores that I trust, and they know me, and I've known them since I collected comics back in college. And I said, look, where are we at? How are we doing? And Mike is just one example. He said his sales were up from 2012 20 to 30% and that was midway through the day. So, those type of things tell me that we're doing the right thing. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm kicked into official mode now. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Getting back to stupid joking again.
It's great to hear, though. I mean, I'm sure everybody's curious that wasn't able to go, like myself. So.
Yeah. I mean, this was a proof of concept for me that this can be a full-time job for me, and that's what I wanted to see. I'm not looking to work at Starbucks next week, so that's good.
That's awesome. I can't be happier for you, man. I'm really thrilled that it went off so well.
I'm just shocked that something I'm doing is actually making me money.
Can I have your job? I want your job. I live, breathe, and I sometimes eat comic books. Don't ask how, but it happens.
I know.
Oh, it happens.
I've been there. Usually alcohol's involved, but I've been there.
Yes, exactly.
I have to ask you now, Chuck. With 2 shows next year, then.
Yeah.
Are you going to start planning for this one sooner than you did for this year's?
Honestly, as much as I say I relaxed all day today, I already went through 6 different to-do list apps that I've downloaded over the years. I went back through kind of looking at the features because I know that I need to do a deeper level of planning. I mean, this is, I mean, you got 225 vendor and creator tables. You've got people that are, coming in, canceling, doing all kinds of things. You have all the different, you have no idea until you do one of these shows that there's, not only just rent your tables and rent your chairs, but there's insurance, there's overnight security, there is food orders for your guests, there is all these crazy costs from wristbands to, I had no idea when I was getting into this just how much has to go into the promotion budget. I mean, good gracious, if you're going to do television, radio, Facebook, we did print, 2 different print forms, newspaper. We did everything we could do without me standing on a corner with a placard going, please step inside,
Right.
and to coordinate all that, you cannot wait till the last minute. And I some of this was seat of the pants, and it all worked out beautifully and came together. But I got to admit, those last 2 months were freaking unbelievably complex. And I won't do that again. No.
Well,
I'm starting on 2014 tomorrow.
Well, if you need anything, darkaventuring.com by the beginning of 2014 will be up, and we will definitely help promote Derby City when it comes up.
That is awesome. Brant, I mean, we've already reached out to our first round of guests. I mean, I was hoping I might have one to tell you tonight that would just blow your socks off, but a certain writer who comes from the very best era of X-Men, without naming any names.
Okay.
A legendary writer who created a great round of new X-Men. I don't know. I can't really say who he is. But
Nice. Very cool.
We're waiting to hear back. Everything's positive, and we can't make an announcement yet. But
sure.
we think that one's looking as one of our. We're going to try to have about 11 to 15 kind of big anchor guests for the 2014 show, and a mix of all the rest of everybody. But it's a good number to have.
All right, I'll call Stampy.
And not to give the impression that you just started on this year's con last week or something. Obviously, you put months and months of work into this, but I know that. Go ahead.
There are things you don't realize till you're doing it. And I'll say very publicly, I did not realize things like you can't get to December. Yeah, I thought if I started really trying to put together some of my A-name list guests in December for a June show, that was plenty of time. It isn't. Those days are gone. You got to be working on this while you're putting on your 2013 show. You got to be finding your guests for your 2014 show, and it's amazing because the schedules. There's so many cons out there. There's so much attention to detail and different things that go on. It's unbelievable.
Well.
But I tell you, man, with as much partying and fun we had around the edges, at those pre-party and post-parties, I mean, the stories that will come out that the creators are going to carry on to other places, we'll get guests just off that alone. But I think I about killed Steve Scott. So.
Oh, no, so you got to elaborate on that now.
Oh, okay. I'll give you the quote. This was something. Tony Isabella, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tony Isabella, wonderful. Been in the industry 40 years, done all these beautiful things. I got to tell you the story. This is one of them. It just made me laugh to the point of tears. So we're at the post party, and Tony Isabella had his son with him, and his son bought Tony a beer and a shot of bourbon. And Tony walks by me and says, "My son just bought me a beer and a shot of bourbon. Shit's getting real." To hear Tony Isabella say that just was like, oh, that is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I couldn't even picture that. That's awful.
I was like, did you hear that? Oh my God. So, yeah, we just died laughing. Friday night we had the guys, Justin Stewart, all the guys and gals from the Lexington kind of group of artists down there. They did a live art show thing. We did a full press event Friday night, and I got up and announced all the stuff. And, just people from all over came, and Carrie Kelly's sitting right there to my right, and it was a beautiful night, man. I mean, and then the second night the show was over, we all got to the bar, and everybody just started buying each other shots. It just, it got interesting fast.
So that's a special segment on this week's Charlie Tonic Hour, right?
We touch on it. Probably not as much as we should, but quite honestly, we record because Charlie Tonic goes live same time as recap on my side. It's a Wednesday show, but we got back. We were too tired to even do a roadshow podcast. We got back and we looked at the week ahead, and it's like, I'm not doing any Monday, Tuesday this, Wednesday we're doing a memorial to my dad, to my stepdad. I said, this is so we rolled in the door and we decided to record a cop podcast, and that has to be the most tired sounding podcast you ever. But we told some stories. 15 minutes after the show floor opened, the fire alarm goes off.
Oh wow.
And we scrambled to think about clearing the hall, and it all got straightened out. We had one person arrested over the course of the day.
Oh wow!
Really?
Well, it was just nothing on the show floor, but it was out in the outer area near the registration table. A guy literally who still had the wristband on from where he'd been released just was not all there, and he was kind of getting in a little too close to different people, but the convention center is so much pros. I mean, it wasn't 2 seconds that they had him spotted, had him isolated, kind of just gently talked to him and got him in a position, but he was a little off, and that was probably the one spooky moment of the day. Nothing life-threatening or serious or anything like that, but it is nice to know that you're working with a team in a convention center that can handle anything that comes up. So.
And I would like to publicly apologize. I don't know how Michael got there.
Did he keep saying "rock on" over and over again? So, we're talking about Chris's brother, of course. But
yeah, I know. That's great.
Oh shoot.
Oh man,
he's gonna kill me once he hears me say that.
Yeah, he is.
I just love. There was 3 of us up there. Allison, who's head of our volunteer staff, Jenny, and myself, and we're all just kind of standing around, and then the fire alarm goes off, and I see Allison going, "This is not happening. This is not happening. This is not happening."
So was it an accidental thing, or did somebody do it on purpose?
No, what happened was there's a big convention center, and in another part of the convention center there are these old school lifts that you do to bring cars and stuff up.
Right.
And when the people brought the stuff up to the upper level of the convention center, they took it off and they never turned off the lift, and the door closed and it filled up the shaft with gas.
Oh wow!
And that set off the alarm before it was in any way serious. But that was kind of what had happened. So it was actually a legitimate alarm.
Yeah, I can imagine you guys freaking out as soon as it starts. Wow!
Oh my God! And the funny thing, we have this paging mic that basically talks to the entire show floor, and we had tested it the night before, but I guess it got left on when the people who were setting it up from the convention center. So I got there and I literally go to grab the paging mic to address the crowd about what we should do, and the damn thing's out of batteries.
Oh man!
Ooh!
So it was just like, oh my God, what? So I'm running, getting batteries in it. Right about the time I'm about ready to talk to everybody, the alarm goes off and they give the all clear. So.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, those are some of the adventures. But one of the most incredible costume events. We had press there all day. I think I was on 3 different television channels through the course of the day. Print media has just been incredible. We did the morning shows leading up to it. But did you guys see the photo of the Frankenberry costume?
No.
Yes.
This is unfreaking believable. It stood about 7-8 feet tall. It was just this mammoth costume. It rivals anything I've ever seen at C2E2 in San Diego. It was unbelievable. And he had in his shoes speakers, and it was like this boonch, boonch, boonch. Every time he walks, it had like this beat going musically to his walk. It was the most incredible costume.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it took Best of Show for our costume contest.
Nice.
It was on the Facebook, your Facebook page. It was on Facebook somewhere, right?
Yeah. Well, he's been in the Fortress of Solitude. I mean, you can't get that type of stuff there.
Exactly. I'll find it at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is incredible.
He'll find you.
So I assume that the city of Louisville was very grateful for all that business.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, the city of Louisville has been incredible. I mean, from the way that the people reach out to us and just take care of us to the support. I mean, I didn't expect to get as much television coverage as we got leading up to that show. And the fact that my phone was ringing every day, can you come back down? Can you come to Louisville and do this show? Can you come to Louisville and do this show? I got used very quickly to being on television, I'll tell you that. And it's kind of crazy.
It was awesome. I did watch that one video of the morning show or whatever.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. The silly one where Fox was in the comic shop, or the one where we were actually in the studio?
In the studio.
In the studio.
Yeah, that one I loved, and Jenny and her 2 little ones got to be in the studio with me while we were doing that, so the kids were there and they got to kind of see how a studio works, and that was a great morning. I was really, really happy with that.
So does that mean Chuck Moore is going to be going back to doing YouTube videos since he's so used to being on TV now?
I would love to, man. And the sad thing is I got to figure out how to edit them. Jenny and I did like a whole 45-minute episode where we went through everything we got at Space, and I still haven't edited it to put it up.
Wow. Space.
So yeah, I'm willing to do video. I just don't know what to do with it once I've done it.
If you do videos, maybe we could see if we can get you on Dark Avenger Inc. Like we got Brant, and we're trying to drag John, and we're trying to drag
if you're doing something like a Google Hangout or something, I'm down with that. I love.
I mean reviews also. Google Hangout, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd love to do so. I mean, I've got an HD camera. There's no reason I can't. But no, I dig doing it. It's fun. I love watching your show, by the way. I mean, when I can tune in, which has been a couple weeks, but and quite honestly, I'm bad at remembering what night is what night sometimes.
Tuesday.
But
Every
yeah,
Tuesday.
I know. But
they won't remember next week.
You know me. But no, when I do, it's usually I'm like dipping over by CR, and I'm like, oh yeah, the live show's on. I go on, and then Jenny and I will sit there and watch it for a while and just crack up at some of the stuff you guys are saying. But I dig it. It's fun.
Thank you so much. We work really hard. What were you going to say, Brent?
No,
I'm sorry?
No, you're fine.
No, what were you saying? I'm done. I was just saying thank you.
I wasn't really going to say anything.
Oh, what did you say something? I'm going to be like, I interrupted. Sorry.
Oh. So what kind of books you guys reading? What do you like? What's the format of this show? What should I be doing?
we do it. Brant is the head. Brant is the leader. That's why in the last show it was like, what the hell's going on? Because Brant's the one. Everybody out there. Brant is the one that does it. Brant's the genius.
Brant is the leader. Brant has green skin and a really elongated head.
Well,
and fights the Hulk.
I was thinking more of he's the brain, the little mouse that has a humongous brain trying to take over the world.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, well, I'll just sit here and go narf then.
No, it's funny you mention that, though, because during my time in the Fortress of Solitude, when I had no Wi-Fi connection or whatever, I actually got a chance to read a bunch of books, too. So I actually caught up. I read, it was like the first 15 issues of the New 52 Teen Titans, as well.
Uh-huh.
Well, it was like the first 13 issues of Superboy and the Ravagers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I kind of caught up on some New 52 stuff. So that was neat.
Don't look at me.
I sat down. Brant, you just about killed Derby City Comic Con, though, I'll admit.
How's that?
Huh? Because I sat down, I was going to take a quick break,
Mm-hmm.
and I sat down with Mark Waid's Daredevil #1, and the next thing I know, it's the next day, and I've read 26 issues.
That good, huh? Tell
I
everybody
could not
to leave.
put that daggone book down. That was so good.
I told you.
Mark,
Oh,
you did
my-
amazing work.
Gosh, that was amazing. I so loved that read.
Yeah.
And I sat there, it's one of the few times I sat there and just read issue after issue after issue until I was caught up.
Yeah.
Mark Waid is magic with
He
Daredevil.
Yes.
He's magic with a lot of things, but yeah, that's the
Yeah.
first Daredevil series I've liked, and I couldn't even tell you how long.
Yeah, so Brant, your cred has gone through the roof between suggesting Daredevil and Savage Wolverine to me and get me tuned into those two. Whatever you tell, I got to get over to Valiant. I know because you've been telling me that, and I trust you, man. So.
Brent, suggest that Chuck reads Turtles. Suggest that Chuck reads
I haven't
Turtles.
read Turtles. I'm not going to suggest something I haven't read.
Fine, Chuck. Get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's an awesome series.
Oh, okay. I'll consider it. I'll consider
You're
it.
not gonna read it. It's okay. It's my childhood. What can I say? It's a good book. Everybody doesn't believe me.
I believe you. I believe you. Speaking of Valiant, Brant, that's actually one that we're going to reach out to. I'm hoping to attract them to the show at some point in the near future.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, one of the person, Paul, who runs our programming for the show, he does a Valiant dedicated podcast. All it is it talks about the Valiant books and the Valiant universe and all the creators and the news and everything. I would love to, because they were at C2E2 and they had just a beautiful setup. I'd love to reach out to getting them. I mean, this is just something I'd like to do. This is nowhere near any kind of announcement or anything.
Right.
Don't take this for anything other than pure speculation on my part. But they are a company that I think is doing a beautiful product. They're bringing in great creators. I'm hearing nothing but good from everybody who's reading it, and I would love to get them to the show.
Yeah. What's his podcast called? Do you know?
It's a Cultural Wormhole. He does a whole series of podcasts. And if I'm not being too presumptive, because I haven't even discussed this with you, Brant, but he would like to bring his Avengers, his Fantastic Four, his Valiant, and another show he does. I forget what the fourth one is. He'd like to bring them all to Comic Related.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yay!
That's fine with me.
Yeah, and he's a great guy. So
we actually have a bunch of shows on a hiatus, so we're kind of we're in need of some new material. That's fine.
I've got 6 shows that want to be on CR coming. That I just had to get beyond Derby City, and then I was going to be able to begin queuing them up. So
And
the Buku Pop people caught me at Derby City and go, we agreed to be on. What happened? I'm like, you're standing in it. I'll get you on as soon as we get back.
Exactly. I just found their website. Yeah, he does have a lot of shows. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Awesome.
And he's a great guy. He's quite honestly, between he and Allison they're a couple. Allison runs the volunteer staff, and he runs all the programming and all the panels and stuff like that. And we were having weekly calls. They kept me on track. They did so much because they've both been with the show since year one. So they have the history. They're very invested in something they helped create, and they have absolutely become such solid partners in doing Derby City Comic Con. They're just amazing people. So, and Chris, you're gonna get to meet them too.
I'm sorry?
I said, Chris, you're gonna get to meet them too. You know how?
How?
They're going to New York.
Yeah! I live in New York! Yay!
I know. They're going to be part of our team probably for New York Comic Con this year. So
Awesome.
yeah,
I just got approved recently for my press pass, so I'll be there.
Nice.
we finalized our contract with the show, so we've got all of our passes as well.
So the same setup as previous years for Comic Related?
Yes, 24 feet of table space.
Nice.
A massive presence on Podcast Alley. Yes.
Yep.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yes. So, and I'm actually my plan is I'm going to be there. I'm only going to be probably the reason I really wanted to get Paul and Allison there and get you to meet them and everything is I'm probably only going to be able to be there Thursday and Friday. I'm probably going to miss Saturday and Sunday of the show. But I'm going to fly
Saturday
up.
and Sunday are going to be heavy. Saturday and Sunday are going to be heavy.
I love it. I know. I love that show, and I hate missing it, but I have a prior commitment. But Friday, I'm going to fly up fly in Wednesday night, help set everything up with Thursday and Friday, do all my meetings I need to do on Friday, and then I got to fly, I think, to Indianapolis on Saturday.
Well, I'm going to try my oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I'm going to try my hardest to be there Thursday and Friday as well, so I'll definitely be there to help. Go, Brant.
Awesome. You got to get there one of the days, man, because we got to hang out. We've never met face to face, so I got to make this happen.
Oh no, absolutely.
I would love to go, but I'm done making announcements that shows up.
Yeah, don't jinx it.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, man. The Fortress of Solitude did not have an express train out. You had no choice.
It did not. Yeah, you're right.
Yes. You were there defending us from Zod. We were fine with that, man. I understand. Yes.
I did really want to be there, though. I missed seeing a bunch of people that a lot of people that I know and a lot of people that I haven't been able to meet in person that I wanted to meet. And but maybe next year.
Absolutely.
I'll have 2 days to show up that time. Surely I can make one of them. Anyway.
There you go.
Oh shoot.
And Brant's going to let me sleep over, and I could go too.
Oh, man.
Wow, really? Okay, fine. I won't come.
No,
I'm joking with you, man.
I'm joking, too.
Oh, shoot. All right.
I would love it, man. I would love it. We'll find you a place. Just come.
So, do you have any more stories you want to talk about? Anything else you want to mention about Derby City? Or
You want me to tell you about my most panicked moment?
Sure.
Okay, I
haven't told us yet? Wow.
We did a soft open at 9 a.m. and then we did a public open at 10 a.m. And this is a behind-the-scenes story. So I am standing there at about 20 minutes to 9 a.m. I'm about to open the show floor, and I'm looking at 4 empty tables in my dealer area right in the freaking front. And I'm like, and I race to my list. I'm like, what vendor has not made it here yet? And it's this vendor called TP Comics. And I'm like, what the heck? So I go to my list where I keep all my contact information, and it's one of the few that paid me cash that I did not have a phone number for.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I don't know how to fill this space. I walk up to Bob Hickey from Blue and Pro and Skystorm. I'm like, Bob, what do I do? He says, I have no idea. I said, that's bad.
Great assistance there.
So the funny thing is, so here I am sitting, and I'm going. I know there's a lot of vendors who do the comic circuit, and I figure maybe I'll get lucky. One of these guys knows who TP Comics is and has a phone number, so I can at least determine if I need to fill that space immediately, or if I can call them and they're just stuck in traffic and they're going to be here in 15 minutes. Because worst case scenario is I scramble and fill the space and they show up. Right. Mm-hmm. So I go around, and I go to Mark Ballard, who does a lot of shows in the area. I said, Mark, do you know who these TP Comics guys are? He says, I'm TP Comics. Like, what? And so then it hits me. He had called me like the week before, and he had kind of missed TP Comics on my list when I released the schedule. Mm-hmm. And he said, dude, I'm not on here. And I go down the list looking for his name, and he's not there, and he had 4 tables. So I rearranged my show floor, I got him set up, and I got him set, and I gave him his 4 tables, putting him in some good locations, and I had him on the show floor twice. One by his name and one by his company name. I had 15 minutes. I ran to the back of the hall, and I had done this whole nice layup where I put Tony Moore back in the back to kind of draw people through the arena. Mm-hmm. And I went to Kara, his wonderful wife, and I said, Kara, I need your help. She said, what's wrong? I said, you're moving to the front of the hall. We picked up Tony Moore and everything he had and moved him to the first of those 2 tables. And this is how well things sometimes fall into place. I had a vendor who was desperate to get on the show floor. He runs a place called Ultra Pop, but he registered too late and I didn't have any tables. Mm. He actually pulled up a truck outside the place that morning and said, if you have any space, I went ahead and brought stuff just in case.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I looked him square in the eye and I said, you just had your lucky day. You've got a table for me? I said, I've got 2 tables for you. Can you fill them?
Nice.
So I jammed him up front. I went back in the back and got some of the local creators. Bruce Hughes, who's great. He was sharing the table with a buddy of his. And I said, hey, guys, you got 2 tables. You don't share a table anymore. Scoot around there. And and then I went to the other one and threw up the CR banners, and I had a full show floor once again.
Nice.
And I did about 15 minutes. And by the time the crowd came in, that was just like, there was a moment there. But the thing was, this is how crazy it gets. Because I was trying to get back to Tony Moore just to tell Kara that I needed her to move to the front, and I'm watching them pull up their banners and spread out their stuff, and I had so many people grabbing me and asking questions that I couldn't make it 50 feet to tell her I needed to move up to the front. I was 10 minutes of that 15 just going with people stopping me saying, can I do this, can I do this, can I do that, can I do that? Adrenaline rush like I cannot explain.
I'm totally seeing like a slow motion movie montage going on as you're trying to race to the back.
This is the recap's where I started, and I will tell you all, man. This is the storytelling hour.
That's awesome that it came together, though. That's crazy.
Yeah, it did. It really did. We had a couple last minute. I had 2 other creators that. This is sad because I had enough people literally that I could have sold the show floor 3 times over, and I had 2 creators Friday night between 11 and 3 a.m. who both pulled out on me.
Oh wow!
Who one had car troubles, and he's a dear friend of mine. I'm not going to call him out on the show, but he's a dear friend. He had car troubles and he couldn't make it. And the other one, she just gave me no excuse. She said I can't make it in the morning. So.
Wow.
That was another kind of scrambling of. I went over to Mike Watson. I said, Mike Watson, guess what? You wanted 2 tables. I didn't give them to you. You got 2 now. Spread out. And the other one, I had Underground Video Network spread out and took another one. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So,
which is sad because there's people who really desperately did want those tables, but there's no way to plan for that. You can't tell somebody, come and if I happen to have somebody cancel, I'll give it to you.
Right.
And that's the stuff I didn't know would be an issue with running the show. That just is interesting to try and figure out how the hell you work around that.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh no! Yeah. Other people gave me plenty of time to let me know they were canceling. That worked out. So.
Oh shoot! So, I mean, it's just so crazy, though. I mean, like you said, you learned a lot, and I'm sure next year you got 2 days, though. That's gonna be even crazier.
Next year I will not be Wednesday before the show, still waiting, trying to get my cover art for my program and printing a program in 4 days. Yeah, no, there's a lot of things I won't do again.
Yeah.
But I will be waiting for comic-related Comic-Con, CRCC, New York City.
Well, this quite honestly is about as close as you can get, because this had minus one specific individual who would have completed the pantheon of CR and made it a beautiful show. It was quite the CR family reunion.
It was,
yeah. Yeah. So Eric Radcliffe, we missed you. No, I'm kidding.
So
just kidding, Brant.
Bye, Chuck. Oh, shoot.
Just kidding, Brant. No, all joking aside, man, you were desperately missed at the show, and I know you had a lot of life stuff that came up that kept you in the Fortress of Solitude, but I desperately want to get you there in 2014 because it's one of those situations where you can honestly say it wasn't the same without you. So, and I know a lot of people who would love to have seen you.
Yeah, and likewise, I really,
and I know.
Yeah, I desperately do want to be there in 2014, so we'll make that happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Life is a lot different without Brant around. Trust me, I had to go 2 weeks doing everything without Brant, and I found out how important Brant is to my life. I almost forgot how to eat.
We all forgot. We all learned over those 2 weeks how much we need Brant in our life.
Oh yeah.
I was sure. Not only was he my go-to man for pitch hitting graphics when I was in trouble for the show, which I had to figure out how to do some stuff myself, which was kind of scary. But he knows how to do things at CR that I've forgotten how to do, and that's really bad. So. Oh,
he does things I'm still learning. I don't even understand how he does it. So it's like magic. I swear, we'll put a magician's hat on him. It's just we're giving him a big head. We better stop talking now.
Yeah, Brant, I'll have to show you the show poster. I am kind of proud. I did the show poster all by myself, and I think it really turned out well. So.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, you did the program all by yourself, too, and it turned out really nice.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that. That one.
I don't either, because InDesign is a monster program. I hate that program.
Yeah. Chris, I'll just tell all my warts. I thought I had a guy lined up to do the program, and it turns out there was some miscommunication on my part. So I found myself in a situation where I didn't really have anybody do the program, and I am to the point where I only have about 48 hours till that thing has to go to press. So I literally woke up one morning and said, I got to make a decision here. Plopped down the credit card and bought InDesign, which is not at all cheap.
No.
That is a hard $800 piece of software to swallow. But I bought it at like 6 a.m. I started working on it. 48 hours later, I built a program with a whole lot of calls to Bob Hickey. So
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've only used InDesign a couple of times for a book that I was working on, and I just that's amazing because I hate that program.
Oh my God. Bob knew when he's asking me how close are you to getting it done, and I called him and said, you know the ruler at the top? How do you convert it from points to inches? I heard him tell this story at the show this weekend. He's like, that's when I about lost it.
Oh, shoot. But it all came together, and it all went well, so.
It surpassed all expectations. It really was a home run. I would be proud. There were lots of points during the day when it was tough to get across the show floor, I went down. Usually at these one-day shows, the panels are pretty empty. I went downstairs and I dipped into the Ringtail Cafe panel, and there were like 34 people sitting in there, and that was pretty regular. There were 30 to 50 people at any given time in those panels. It's just awesome. It was great. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, the Zach Cooper Epic Speedrun screening, they said that they thought they had more people and got more attention than they even did at the Arcade Expo, which is more kind of garnered towards their audience of kind of a video game community. So they were thrilled. So.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all kinds of photos will be hitting Comic Related soon.
I'm looking forward to
Kim took mountains.
Yeah, nice.
Kim took mountains. In fact, I think John messaged me earlier asking if I wanted the photos to go on Derby before CR, and I said, heck no, put them on CR. I'll link to them from Derby. So I think tomorrow you'll start seeing the flood begin.
And
Yay.
I know John mentioned some audio as well. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know when he did that.
Or maybe that was from Heroes that he was talking about. Never mind.
Oh my God. John, what a warrior. John, I don't think John sat down more than about 5 minutes the whole day. I mean, he just was. Wow. When I was out directing, and basically. Here's another little fun story. I'm sorry, I'm just full of stories. If you don't mind.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay, here's what you sometimes face. The first vendor shows up with his van full of videos. He pulls into the parking garage to kick off our load-in period on Friday. Pulls in, finds out where his table is, goes to move his truck, and it will not start.
Oh.
He was the first one to arrive. The truck died right in the entryway. We had to work around him all day and had to work a tow truck into our loading bay while loading in the show over the course of that day.
Wow.
It was crazy. Just little things like that are really interesting, but no, John was just rock star because it was basically Jenny and I were out in the loading bay directing traffic, and John was basically pointing everybody to their tables until some of the volunteers showed up. He was working the auction. He was working the PA. He was there. He directed traffic on the loadout. I mean, that guy just went wall to wall, just working it all weekend. And Kim was she did all the runs to the airport to get all the guests. And Yvel Chavette had to go back to the artist for Stormwatch. He had to leave early to go to the airport, and I didn't know how I was going to get him there. And Kim's like, I'll go to the airport, no problem. She just was so on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they are awesome.
I got so much gratitude for so many people. I just can't shut up. So.
No, you're fine.
And this is why Comic Related is the best out there. Dedication is like the first word that comes out of people's mouth when they talk about Comic Related.
We are
dedicated people and family. That's the second word.
Yeah, and that's what the con people found out. We are becoming a family. We're working this, and I feel good because I'm sitting here in my Derby City Comic Con T-shirt right now as we podcast. So.
Nice.
Our lime green T-shirts.
I can make lime green work. Wear it to work.
Yeah. I dig it. I dig it because our T-shirt person did say, they said, get lime green. It'll stand out. Nobody does that. And quite honestly, we put all our volunteers in it. You could spot them anywhere on the show floor because nobody comes to a show in lime green. But it really works with this T-shirt. So.
That is true. I mean, that's a good idea to make them stand out and everything. So.
Yeah, because I was going to go black T-shirt. You don't want to do black. Everybody does black. Don't do black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a common go-to color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Comic Related is purple.
Exactly.
We still got to get purple shirts.
Oh.
We're working on it, Brant. Brant, don't give away what we're working on.
Oh, shoot.
I want purple shirt. I want like a purple button-up shirt with the CR emblem on the lapel. You know.
Yeah.
Get a nice dress shirt kind of thing going.
Because
I don't wear T-shirts to shows. I wear dress shirts with my hat.
Yeah,
I'm going to get some embroidery work going.
I like the way you said that on that morning show. You're like, what are you going to be wearing? You're looking at it.
Exactly. And that was the exact clothing I was wearing on Saturday. I didn't wash it. But that is, I mean, if you wear a similar shirt, you wear the same jeans, the same chucks, and the same hat, people can find you, you know?
Yeah, that is true. That's a good point.
But I heard that so much over the course of the weekend. I didn't realize how much that was watched. I guess it's one of the primary channels people watch because everybody said, "Yep, that's the hat. That's the hat." I had somebody stop me in Panera. It's like, "Are you the guy from television?" I'm like, what? It's like a 5-minute spot. Give me a break.
All right, so. Man, we've been talking for a while now.
I'm sorry, do you do segments on this show, or is it just Chuck talking? Because it used to be just Chuck talking.
Well, no, we figured we definitely wanted you to be on here to talk about Derby City and all this stuff. And just catch up with you. No, it's fine, but we were going to mention
Can you tell you guys are the first person I've talked to about the show since I got home from it?
That's cool. I'm glad I'm the first person you talked to us, because I missed it and I wanted to hear about it. So, hence why I asked you to be on.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Related recap exclusive. First people.
All right, so we were going to talk about some headlines. Chuck, were you able to stick around for that, or do you need to go?
I wish I could, but my beer is empty, and I'm about to fall off my stool. So I think I should retire, because I think the non-coherent me that you've had to put up with for the last half an hour is just about out of steam, and I think sleep is. You guys are night owls, man. You're recording into the wee hours of the morning, and I'm sorry, man. Us old codgers got to get some sleep at some point, man. So
that's
I'm going to turn it over to you guys for the news, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, thanks for dropping by, and we would love to have you on again just to chat about comics or whatever.
Absolutely.
Man, the next 6 months, I think I can breathe again. So let's do some stuff.
All right.
Let's have some fun. Okay, man.
Sounds good.
I'll see you guys next time.
All right. Bye, Chuck.
Bye, Chuck.
All right, so thanks again to Chuck, who has now left us for the week, for the evening, for who knows how long. But we were glad to have him, and it was really cool hearing about Derby City. But we got some headlines to talk about. Yes. All right. Yes. So you want to kick this off, Chris?
Absolutely, and the first thing I'd love to bring up, and it's something I saw a couple of weeks ago, but it is freshly announced from DC Comics, and it was announced on Tony S. Daniels' Facebook page. Superman Wonder Woman will become a new ongoing series as of, I believe, either September or October of this year.
October.
I believe it is October. I thought so. And I tried to write my opinions on this book several times. The word really came up a lot. Really with a question mark.
Yeah, we actually talked about this, and Chris, he tried his hardest to write this article, but for Comic Related.
I tried my hardest. And I could.
He said, "Brant, can you please write this?"
Yeah.
So I gave my opinions on Comic Related, and everybody can check that out. I'll try to remember to put a link in the show notes this time. But it's I'll sum up my thoughts on this whole thing with saying that, to me, this entire series sounds like a big piece of fan fiction.
Yep.
So.
And for those of you that were complaining that Batman's all over DC, if you look really closely, and I'm not complaining here, Superman is actually taking up a lot of titles too now.
Oh yeah.
How many are there now? There's Superman, Action Comics, Batman, Superman, because yes, it does count people.
Mm-hmm.
Superman, Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4.
Superman Unchained.
Superman Unchained is 5.
Adventures of Superman.
Nope, doesn't count. That's not part of the regular.
You're talking about
but you're right. You're right. But you are right, and it's up there with the other digital first books because there's also Smallville.
Yeah. Justice League.
Justice League. He's in. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I know Superman's in something else, and it's going over my head.
I don't know.
Well, that's 6 books. That's 6 books. Now, Batman has Batman, Batman the Dark Knight, Justice League, Batman Superman, Batman and Robin, and that's where I start to lose it.
Batman the Dark Knight.
I got that.
Oh, okay. Man, I don't know. There's so many Bat family titles, it's hard to keep track of which ones he's actually in.
Well, I'm not counting family ones.
Right. Yeah.
Superboy for Superman, then, which would have brought it to 8.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else.
Detective Comics, which is 5.
Yeah.
Or 6. I lost count!
I know. No. There's too many to keep track of, I'm telling you.
There are a lot of Batman. Yeah. So, I don't know. But I thought it was funny how you said the next book is going to be Batman Wonder
Woman. Yeah.
You know what would be funny if they make a 3rd book? Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
It's a triangle.
Yeah, of course. It's the DC Trinity. That's the new 52 version of Trinity. That's what.
Yeah. And it's a love triangle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't say that. I'm telling you. I mean, I don't want to speak on Charles Soule's. That's the writer on the book. On Superman, Wonder Woman. I don't want to speak on his talent because I don't think I've read anything that he's written because I don't read Swamp Thing. So I'm not gonna try to totally bag on everybody, but at the same time, like I said, fan fiction. It's just like, of course, a lot of the New 52 is like fan fiction. But I mean, I made that into a defense as well because comic creators first and foremost are fans. So still.
That's how they start. They start off as fans, then they start writing, then the next thing you know, they're Jim Lee and Jeff Johns, and they're getting millions of dollars for doing what we want to do.
True.
Writing comic books. Give me a job!
I'm still surprised that they went forward with this. I mean, I've not seen a lot of positive feedback about Wonder Woman and Superman being together, have you?
No, I've actually seen people saying, I can't wait to see them break up.
Yeah, so I'm really surprised they went forward with an entire ongoing series.
I know, and what happens when they break up? It's the broken up couple? They're best friends?
Oh, I don't know, man. It's weird.
DC, what are you doing to Superman?
How do we go from Villains Month to a relationship title with Wonder Woman and Superman?
I wish I could tell you, Brant. I wish I could tell you. I don't know.
Yeah. But, so, there you go. If you're a fan of Tony Daniel art, though,
I am.
I'm sure you'll pick this up. And well, it has Superman in it. You'll pick it up, at least.
Yeah. Because I said I wasn't picking up Batman, Superman, and gee, look! That's my pop.
Well, what can you say? You're a Superman fan. I understand. It's fine.
You understand and make fun of me for it.
Well, of course. But, that's what friends are for.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's not really anything else to say about this.
No. Absolutely not.
So, next up, let's see, sticking with DC, and this was also announced a couple weeks ago. Of course, I've been off the recap, so we got a lot of stuff to catch up on. But Lights Out, the new Green Lantern event, or it's not really an event because it only happens for 1 month through one issue of each of the titles.
Yeah.
But, it's a mini crossover between the Green Lantern titles. It's the first non-Jeff Johns crossover of any kind in the Green Lantern titles in many years. So it's getting a lot of publicity. And it kind of spins out of Villains Month with Relic, this new Green Lantern villain, being the impetus that's going to start this. And apparently this is going to have lasting effects on all the Earthbound Green Lanterns, Jon Stewart, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, and Hal Jordan. So, there's not a whole lot of details available on it yet. But, yeah.
Well, it won't involve Red Lantern Corps or Lara Fleece, from what I heard. It's only going to be Green Lantern Corps, and Green Lantern New Guardian.
No, it actually is going to be Red Lanterns.
Oh, it is going to have Red Lanterns also?
Yeah. That's what the interview I read said. It said the 4 core titles.
So, okay, so Lara Fleece is the one that's out of it.
Yeah, it's all the issue, whatever that issue is for October, plus the Green Lantern Annual #2.
There's going to be another annual already?
Yep.
Come on, really?
Yep. All in October. So.
When was the last annual? Was it October last year?
It couldn't. No, it couldn't have been. Could it? Was it that long ago?
No, because it was the end of the Third Army, beginning of the First Lantern. So how many issues were the First Lantern? 5 issues, which is 5 months.
Yeah.
So maybe.
I don't know. It seems like they rolled out all the annuals this year, though.
Yeah, they did.
So, I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But, so yeah, I mean, it's the whole, and there was like, how can you tell this epic story in just these 5 issues? But when you look at it, it's actually 140 pages worth of story, so.
Yeah. I actually appreciate it more because you don't want something that's going to last like 5 months in all the books. You want a short crossover, especially with a new team.
Yeah, especially after all the stuff that's happened with throughout Jeff Johns, both pre and post New 52.
Absolutely.
So, no, I mean, I don't know. This Relic villain sounds interesting. He looks cool, but he sounds interesting. He's not super powered. He's just got some kind of tech that's beyond what they've ever seen. So, I mean, we'll learn more, I'm sure, as September approaches. Yeah. So.
Oh, Brant, one thing we discussed, me and Mike, on the last show that I'm trying to remember back to get your opinion on things. Speaking of Villains Month, did you hear that if you went to the DC Comic Roadshow, that the covers that are coming out for Villains Month, Superman Unchained #1 is going to be the first comic that gets that treatment.
Oh,
but
really?
only to retailers that went to the Roadshow. They're the ones that got a copy.
Huh.
So Superman Unchained's first cover got the 3-dimensional. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's a lithographic kind of 3D effect thingy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Interesting. No, I hadn't heard that at all.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. What do you think of that?
You know what I think about those 3D covers anyway.
Yeah, but they're not variants. They're actual covers this time.
Yeah. Still, I mean, it raises the price on every single book, which bothers me. But I'll have to wait and see if it's, I'd like to see one of the covers actually physically, and see if it's even worth the trouble.
Yeah,
so it's hard to say.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess
go ahead.
No, you go. No, you go ahead. I was just gonna say yeah.
I was just going to confirm that I looked up that again to make sure that Red Lanterns was part of it, and it is.
Okay.
So what's up next? What's the next step?
Well, actually, since we're talking Green Lanterns, freshly announced or mentioned, it's going to be probably brought up at San Diego Comic-Con, which I'm very excited to hear news coming out of San Diego this year.
Yeah.
Another Green Lantern associated book might be starting up at the end of 2013, beginning of 2014. Sinestro Corps.
Yeah, that's a rumor going around. I think Bleeding Cool started it.
Yep.
So take it for what it's worth, but they are right a lot of times. So they do have industry sources that they tap into to find out. But yeah, there's a rumor that there's going to be a 6th ongoing Green Lantern title being Sinestro Corps, which I think, following Jeff Johns' last issue of Green Lantern, kind of makes sense.
Yes, absolutely, because you have the whole Sinestro Corps active again.
Yeah. So, I mean, why not?
I want to know what's going to happen between Sinestro and Acrillo.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
I don't either. I never even try.
Because it went from Arkillo with being the last of the Sinestro Corps, because Sinestro was a Green Lantern, the Sinestro Corps was shut down, and now Sinestro's back, the Yellow Lantern Corps is active again, and Arkillo is now part of the Sinestro Corps again. Right. So he's not alone anymore, but he was. He was like, I am fear. I'm the only one to fear now. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. Now all DC has to do is make a Blue Lantern and an Indigo Tribe comic book series, and I'm a happy man. I'm serious. Those are the only two other corps that I would like. I would actually like Blue Lanterns. I have a perfect way they could set it up. After the whole Third Army, the Blue Lantern was destroyed by the Blue Beetles. It would be an interesting series to see how the Blue Lanterns come back from that. As far as the Indigos, we know nothing about them, so perfect beginning would be an origin, like kind of like what they do outside of like what they've been doing in the Green Lantern books.
Doesn't that just lead to Star Sapphires though?
Yeah, but we don't need that.
You might as well if you're going all out with that.
No, we don't need that one. Like the My Little Ponies of Green Lantern universe.
Honestly, I would love to see a Sinestro Corps series. I'd like to see that one. So.
Absolutely, that was top of my list. Sinestro Corps first.
Mm-hmm.
That'll kill them. So, and what do you think they're going to do in it?
Oh, I couldn't even begin to guess what they'd actually do in it. But I could see him, just I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because we have a new writer, new writers in this whole thing. We don't know who would be writing it, what kind of direction they're going to take. Because my initial thinking is going towards Jeff Johns' sensibilities.
Yes.
But, yeah,
Wouldn't it be funny if he actually wrote the first story?
That would be funny. I doubt it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, he's left. He's like, I'm done. I'm doing Justice League. I'm doing Aquaman. Yeah. That's it.
But San Diego Comic-Con's only like 3 weeks away, so we'll find out very soon. Did you see the Outhousers put up an article about this? And I thought it was funny, and I know that DC's not too happy with the Outhousers. But,
nobody's happy with them from what I hear as far as the mainstream stuff. So,
but it was funny though. I mean, I have to admit they made a funny article about this story, talking about elderly fans being upset about too many Green Lantern books, but all these elderly fans were like in their late 20s and early 30s. And it was just, they were comparing kind of the 90s trends to current day trends, and it was like, back in my day, the X-Men only had 2 books, and then they would go on to explain, they only had 2 books, X-Men and Uncanny X-Men. And X-Force, and Generation X.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Only one book.
Yeah. So it was funny, I have to admit.
Man, could you imagine 20 years from now what we'll be saying? Yeah, Batman only had 4 books, and then Nightwing, and Batgirl, and Batwing.
At the rate DC's going, we'll probably be like, yeah, Batman only had like 15 family titles, now they got 32.
Oh, don't even joke like that. They'll make their own Batman universe. They'll call it the BC, like BC comic.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, shoot. So,
I'm waiting for an Ultimate Universe from DC. I think that would be spectacular if they did that.
That would be
young superheroes. Younger, like teenage Superman meeting teenage Batman. I mean, not Smallville. I'm talking not exactly what Marvel did with the Ultimate Universe, but like what if the characters became their personas before they hit young adulthood. Maybe Superboy. Call Superman Superboy because the whole lawsuit's over between the Siegel and Schuster family, and they're trying to get another one started, but it's not going to work. I think the judges are sick of those people already. I'm sick of them. I'd rather hear more about Rob Liefeld than these people at this point.
Well, don't say that. Speaking of, that's a nice segue. Segue. This is all of a sudden. But no, there was a story that covered a bunch of different things, which we'll talk about some of that later on in the show too. But one of the things that it brought up, and this was an article on Bleeding Cool. One of the things it brought up was, and it was a discussion with Tom Brevoort, I believe. That it kind of spun off of his Tumblr page, of all things. But they mentioned Robert Kirkman and Rob Liefeld's Killraven miniseries that was never published by Marvel. They were asking, we've heard it's been completed, and he got stuck on the present 616 Marvel and Bendis Avengers and hasn't been seen since. Where is he? All that yada yada. Brevoort's answer was it was never published because we didn't actually have any of the pages. While Rob did send over JPEGs of his pencils, they were never completed. We saw inks and colors on some of it. None of the full-size files were ever uploaded to us. If we had it, we'd probably go ahead and finish it at some point. Which, of course, got back to Rob, and he became a tweet pest.
Oh, Rob Liefeld, I swear, Rob Liefeld should be the poster child for frickin' Twitter at this point.
I mean, he went on a rant, and it was like 5 or 6, 7 posts, and he was like, first he was calling Tom Brevoort's explanation crap and don't listen to what he says. Then he was like, I drew the entire 5 issues and inking and coloring the first 2 issues, and they wouldn't schedule it. Then he supposedly found the email from the Marvel editor, who no longer was there, conveniently, saying that that's a wrap on Killraven. They have 5 issues, and so whatever. He just went on and on in that realm. Yeah.
I wonder if Twitter pays Rob Liefeld to actually just go on his little tangents. I mean, seriously, Rob, get paid.
He's the iJustine of Twitter.
You just gotta put a blonde wig on.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, so, we're not...
I'm surprised he hasn't cursed us out, or Zone 4 out, or Comic Related out, or any of us personally out yet at this point.
Well, we're not industry insiders as far as Marvel goes, so we don't know the real story, but still. Is it really necessary to take to Twitter and spill all your business? I don't know. Rob. Anyway.
He's such a perfect person to just literally, if you need some material, you go on his Twitter. Boom. 20 different things. Just pick one.
We should start like a Rob Liefeld podcast. Just talking about everything.
This week, Rob tweeted about. Boom. Let's go.
We would get so much hate and so much love at the same time.
Oh, yeah. That 180 people that actually supported Brigade will be the haters, and then like 1 million people will be supporters, so we'll be like, okay, we can live with that.
We would be the most controversial podcast in all comics. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing it.
Come to the Comic Related in August of 2013. No. But,
Shanghai.
Yeah. Other news. Point 1, number 3. This was always mentioned. Also, yeah, always. It was always mentioned. I'm starting to lose it. It was also mentioned in the same article, asking that there would be a Marvel Point 3 or Point 1, number 3, and Tom said, "I'd say that's pretty likely." And of course, they said, "Well, sure." Now that you've confirmed it, well, that's pretty much all there was said about that. The other controversy was something about something that happened in Uncanny Avengers number 9. Something about somebody being offended. I don't know what happened. I don't read the book, so I don't know what happened in that book. But Tom said that they fouled that up pretty bad, or pretty good, as you might expect. The whole series of exchanges was written and rewritten more than just about any other part of the book. So anybody that's read Uncanny Avengers number 9, I think it has to do with some.
I read it. I didn't get offended by anything.
I see what. Okay, it's a religious thing. It's something about some Roma religion. I don't know. I apologize for anybody out there that I'm not familiar with this religion at all. But it has some kind of thing to do with a religious error of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
It went over my head, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, yeah. Apparently Marvel admitted that they totally messed it up, so.
Ray, I don't know. Yay, Marvel admits they screwed up for once.
Yeah. We'll talk more about Marvel later. But, yeah, go ahead.
That's it. That's all I have. Well, yeah.
A couple of quick things I just wanted to mention. Valiant 8-bit covers return for round 2, or they call it level 2 in October. It's kind of cool because the one cover they showed was a X-O Man of War cover, and it's like X-O Man of War made out of Tetris pieces. Yeah,
that was cool. I saw that one.
Yeah. I don't think they've showed the rest of them, or maybe they were on another website that I have not looked at yet. As I click the link and see if they're actually there, and they are. So, yeah, you can find those. I think it's on toplessrobot.com is where the second level of them are. And I don't recognize what these games are. So they do have a Harbinger cart, which is kind of cool. But yeah. And the other one that I didn't get to talk about on the on another show that I returned to recently was the Boom Archaea situation. You heard about this, right?
Yes, I did. I actually read up on it when I heard.
Yeah.
I heard about it a week ago.
Yeah. I wasn't around. Yeah, I was actually surprised about this. I had no expectations towards this happening, so very interesting direction for Boom to take. Archaea, obviously they both produce a lot of kind of independent, kind of niche.
I'm not surprised.
So, yeah, and I'm not really surprised by the type of titles combining there, but I was kind of surprised that they actually bought the company. Yeah,
I'm not sorry. I'm not surprised because Boom has a limited amount of books they release each and every week. Number one, so this is going to help boost their output. Yeah. Number two, IDW, Image, and Top Cow is part of Image. IDW, Image, Zenoscope, Valiant, all of these companies are moving. They eliminate the whole division between the big two and the indies. You notice a lot of people stop talking about the big two and indies. They just talk companies now. DC, Marvel, IDW, Image, whatever. Boom Studios still falls under the indies category, though. If you go on Midtown Comics, all the companies are separated except for Boom Studios, which is still under indies. I'm very surprised Valiant and Zenoscope are still defined as indie companies. I'm surprised they don't get their own categories. Maybe it's, once again, because of the amount of books they release. And Archie, etc., etc., etc. Those all fall still under the indie category. Mm-hmm. So Boom Studios is trying to make a name for themselves and reach up. Dynamite Comics recently, in the past 2 years, broke free from the indie comics lineup and got their own category because of all the books they're doing.
And
so
they did a similar thing too, where they purchased Dabble Brothers, which went under different names and stuff, and actually had to deal with Marvel at one point.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's how I understand Boom's mindset. Buy a big company because they're very well known from what I hear, Archaea.
Yeah, they've published some really good stuff. I mean, they have a few licenses of their own. They have the Fraggle Rock license. They do Mouse Guard, which is a huge seller. They've done some, groundbreaking stuff like The Killer. What's the name of that one? I cannot think of the name. It was a popular... crap. I love the book, too. And I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, they've done a lot of cool stuff, so... but they've been kind of silent for a while, so I guess it kind of makes sense because they kind of fell a little bit off the radar, so...
Yeah, so it'll help both companies. It'll help both companies in the long run. And maybe it'll push Boom Studios up to... get its own category finally, which is great. I think all indie companies should have their own, what's the word I'm looking for? Listing, except for the smaller ones like Archie, which only brings out 4 or 5 books a month. That's a month, not even a week. But Zenoscope deserves its own category. Valiant especially because they're building up fast. And Boom Studios, I like reading a lot of the stuff from Boom Studios. I mean, we read Fanboys vs. Zombies, and that was a pretty good series also.
Yeah, Boom's put out a lot of good stuff, too. Yeah.
Absolutely. I just feel bad they lost the Disney license.
Yeah, but I mean they've supplemented that with stuff like Adventure Time, and you know
Yep.
they've made a success out of it. Garfield, Popeye. I mean not Popeye, but
Garfield. Yeah, you were right.
what was the other one? Peanuts. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes. Yeah.
Popeye.
Popeye's IDW.
I know. I was thinking P. It was right there. But so yeah, I think it's a good thing. I was just a little bit surprised by it. But I look forward to seeing what they announce at San Diego, because obviously they've already put this news out there. They've gotten ahead of the convention, so I'm hoping that they're going to announce like some kind of new titles or something coming out of this whole thing. So,
Hey, Brant, you want to go to California?
I would love to.
I'd love to also.
Yep.
I have a feeling something huge is going to be announced at San Diego Comic-Con, and we should have a special for the related recap for San Diego, since we didn't do one for Bowl of Toys with E3, unfortunately. We should definitely do one for San Diego.
Oh, absolutely. We'll probably do specials all across for San Diego. I mean, because all the toys that they're going to release there too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's already some stuff I've got to talk about on the next Hall of Toys.
You see how prepared we are, people? We're prepared.
So I think that's all the news, though.
Yes, it is, actually.
So I think it's time to head behind the bell.
Finally! We have something to talk about.
Yes. And you want to chime in there? It kind of kicks off what I was kind of teasing about earlier, but...
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't mind chiming in at all, because I've been talking about this, actually, the past 2 weeks. Yeah, it actually affects companies, but it also affects the people. It affects everybody. So it's kind of like a general all-over veil this week. And what we're talking about are leaks. Publishers.
Yeah, publisher leaks that they reveal details of stories, even pages that ruin the stories. Yeah.
Whole issues.
Whole issues,
and, yeah, and this year is the year of the leaks, seriously. I mean, we've had... How many comics were spoiled? Big event comics were spoiled already this year, Brant. I mean...
Yeah, there's been several.
Spider-Man, 2 of them in Spider... Yeah. There was the last issue of The Death in the Family.
Yeah.
And recently The Age of Ultron.
Right.
I think those are the only ones from this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. My question to you is, Brett, where did they come from? Because a lot of people ask me where the leaks came from, and to be honest, I don't know. I just know that the leaks were out there.
You know, there's a lot of speculation. I mean, we know that somebody has access to books early, because otherwise there would be nothing like a torrent in existence.
Right. Exactly. So somebody has to get the books early.
So I mean, it could be somebody that works for the company. It could be somebody at the printer. It could be somebody at comic shops. You just don't know.
I think it was revealed that Spider-Man 700 was a comic shop owner.
Yeah, I think I did read that too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it comes from several different places. It's hard to track down exactly, you know. So, I don't know. But it's gotten to a point to where publishers... Yeah, well, it's gotten to a point where publishers are trying to get out ahead of the leaks now.
Yeah. They're actually leaking their own stuff. This way, at least it comes from them instead of somebody else.
Yeah, and I understand the logic in that, but at the same time, you're still ruining stories for your readers.
Yeah, big ones at that.
Yeah. And, you know, this was actually mentioned in that same article we were talking about, the Liefeld stuff and everything. Bleeding Cool asked Tom Brevoort, and they said, you guys aren't going to make a habit of spoiling your own stories far in advance to protect from the leaks, are you? And I'm just going to read this quote. He says, we live in the world we live in, and we need to run our business dealing with that world. If the leaks went away, then there wouldn't be any need to do stuff like this. But that won't stop a one of you from visiting the comics rumor sites today. So we get the world that we chose to create as a group. So it was kind of a sidestep answer, quite honestly. It wasn't a straight direct answer, but basically, exactly. I got out of that, yeah, we're going to do it to protect ourselves. So,
which they have to, and you know who it hurts actually the most? The press. Because before all this BS nonsense was going on with leaks and whatnot, the press had access to early releases of the books. Mm-hmm. This way we could review it the day it came out, because honestly, when the books come out, sometimes it's hard to have a full-fledged review day of. So, advanced reviews. They give you advanced copies. Who does it hurt? The people that get the advanced copies, because now companies are scared to release big stories early.
Yeah.
And it affects the press, because now we have to take extra time. It takes more time for reviews to go up because the companies don't want to give advanced copies anymore. So,
I'll speak full disclosure specifically on Marvel. For a fact, the reason that they don't offer advanced review copies anymore is because of that very reason, that they were getting a lot of leaks and spoilers because of that. So
that makes it impossible for people like us to review anything, or to have a honest, full review the day it's released.
Yeah, and it's very difficult. So, I mean, it's like anything like that. It hurts the people that are actually trying to do the right thing. So
yeah, it affects the companies because it affects sales. It affects the readers because now it's like getting a spoiler for a movie that just came out from one of your friends.
Yeah. And the sad thing, it doesn't stop the ones that are doing it anyway. So, I mean, it's, whatever. But, you have to also blame the sites that actually run the leaks, too.
Yep. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, if you're going to sit there and run the full leak, then, you're doing a disservice to all of us, too, so.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I would nip that in the bud first thing, like what YouTube does when you post up something that has music, just knock it out immediately, like shut down the leak. And if people copy it and paste it, knock it down. And I think from the companies, there should be penalties and punishment for, especially if it's a vendor, like I was saying on Comics Point 3 on my channel. If it's a vendor, you don't send your comic books to them until the day of release. And if they can't get it on their shelves, too bad. That you release something early, so now you're penalized for it. If it's reviewers, penalize the people who have released it. Don't penalize everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of hard because it's stealing, but at the same time, I don't know if they can't. They have to prove that they got it underhandedly. They have to, it's a big deal, and you have to deal with the whole freedom of press thing. And
nope, it's not freedom of press when there's an official embargo date. If there is,
I agree with that. Yeah,
we are not only forced by law, but we're not. Okay, redo that. We are not only by law, but it's right there in black and white. You're not allowed to talk about this until. So there's definitely a way to, there's law involved there. They say right there.
Yeah, I just,
I have no idea how to actually say that, so I just shut myself up.
No, it's fine. I don't know what steps they can take to prevent it, if there are steps. I mean, like we said, we don't know where the leaks come from. I'm sure they don't know exactly every time where the leaks come from, so it's kind of hard to put any, penalties or whatever on somebody you don't know. I mean, they could spend the time and the money to research it, but, it's not so big a problem that it warrants that kind of, like, a deep investigation, that kind of like that at this point. Yeah. So, but then again, torrents are still out there everywhere too, and those aren't being cracked down nearly as hard,
much as they should.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't know either. But to be honest, and I'm saying this out front, I said it on my channel, I said it on Dark Avenger Inc., and I'll say it for Comic Related as well. We do not support, nor would we ever do a kind of leak on any of our channels. I'm sorry, but people know we get copies in advance on Dark Avenger Inc., and I'm sorry. One thing we would never support and we would never do is leak anything. We are actually anti-leaks.
Yeah, and now let me clarify for any listeners out there. There is a difference between leaks and spoilers. A huge difference.
And advanced reviews.
Yeah.
Somebody said an advanced review is a leak. No, it's not, as long as you don't give any, like you said, spoilers.
Yeah, especially if you have permission from the company and they're actually providing you with the copies. No, that's not a leak at all. Spoilers are different because spoilers are, we're giving you the details, but as long as we sit there and say, okay, this is a spoiler-filled thing, that we're given full access here, whatever, that's fine. That's not taking something before it's even published, before you even have an okay, and releasing it completely online and saying, okay, this is what happens before you even get a chance to, buy it. No, that's what a leak is. So, and that's something that we don't do.
We don't support it as well. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, look, there are certain companies we don't work with at this time, but even if we never work with them, we would never support nor do any type of leak. And one day I hope to God there is a way to prevent torrents and leaks of certain comic books, because it hurts. It's not only that it hurts the press, but it hurts the readers, because how many readers didn't pick up Amazing Spider-Man 700 because they were pissed off about the ending before it came out? How many people didn't pick up Batman Death in the Family's last issue because they knew, and this isn't a spoiler here because by now everybody knew Alfred and nobody died.
Yeah.
How many people didn't pick up Age of Ultron because basically all the teasers and trailers at the end of the book were spoiled?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's horrible, and it's a disservice to the people who are reading the books and want to prevent it being spoiled, and it's a disservice to the companies that take the time and the precautions to not even give away certain covers until the day of release.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a touchy issue, but
a very wet issue.
Yeah, as long as people, funny. As long as I don't know. As long as people keep getting away with it, we're gonna keep seeing them, especially on bigger stories like this. But still, you don't have to read the leaks. So
exactly.
Just stay away.
Yeah. I prevented reading the leak for Age of Ultron number 10. Yeah. So just don't read it and they'll go away.
Yeah. So.
I think that's all I have to say on it. Do you have anything you'd like to add, Brant?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Okay. So let's move into some hard stuff now.
Some hard stuff? Alright.
Because we're moving away from leaks.
I got you. Go into some dry stuff. What?
Nothing.
Okay. Bloopers, folks.
Watch the bloopers. Listen to the bloopers. Don't watch them. You can't see nothing, but listen to them.
I mean, you can watch. I mean, you won't, like you said, you won't see nothing, but you can watch all you want.
Yeah.
There.
I'm just imagining a slideshow now for that blooper.
Alright. So, comics.
Yes.
There were some that came out.
Before we get into this week's comics, I need to know your opinion on two books that came out in past weeks, in the past 2 weeks ago. Superman Unchained, which we did talk about a little bit when Chuck was here, and Batman 21. Did you happen to read either of those?
I read both of those.
And what are your opinions on both of those?
I actually, surprisingly, really enjoyed both of them. I mean, I'll say surprisingly for Batman 21, because
right.
We talked about that on this show in depth, and we both had very negative opinions about the direction that book was taking. Mm-hmm. But I was very surprised at how much I actually enjoyed the story that was told in that first issue of this long story arc, at least. So yeah, I enjoyed it. And Superman Unchained, I kind of thought I would like it anyway, but it's Jim Lee art. I mean, I love Jim Lee art, and I love Scott Snyder writing, so it was kind of win-win for me, and I really, really enjoyed that one. Just a little bit more. Yeah.
It's ironic that Scott Snyder wrote both, I was going to say.
Yeah, no, it is. So, Scott Snyder is a absolutely great writer, in my opinion. So, he's done wonders on Batman. He's, pretty much everything that he's written in recent memory has been really good. So,
yeah. What did you think about that poster page? That's the one thing I think that was a negative for the comic and a positive. It was both. It
was a positive because the art was phenomenal. It was a beautiful piece of art that you could actually take out and hang on your wall if you wanted to. A big Jim Lee double-sized splash page, if you will. But being that it was actually a part of the story and it was an actual page, and once you remove it that first time, it does not stay in, no matter how many times you try to stick it back on that thing.
No, I got rid of it. I got rid of the cardboard immediately. It was just not going to work.
Yeah, it just will not stay on there, so it's like you're missing an entire couple of pages from your book, and it's that's a little problematic, but I appreciate what they tried to do. So
I hope they do it in future issues, just for sheer fact that I think it could be like a trend for Superman Unchained. However, the problem is that will allow them to charge $5 every time it comes out. And
I don't like that either. So no.
Yeah, don't do it.
That was the major detraction for that issue. Otherwise, it was phenomenal for me. I loved it, and I'm surprisingly on board for this 0 year. So we'll see.
Same here. Okay, so those were two huge books that came out 2 weeks ago, and I really was wondering how you.
Speaking of, yes, I'm glad. But speaking of Scott Snyder, there was also a new American Vampire book that came out, and I'm trying to remember what the name of the subtitle of it was, but it was actually also a very good read.
Are you trying to run away, Brant? Because I hear you getting ever so distant.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to reach the book to see what the name was, but I could not reach without taking my headphones off, so I said forget it. Sorry about that. So, yeah. That is my take on those.
Any other books from the past 2 weeks that you'd like to make mention of before we go into this week's? Because we missed you for 2 weeks.
I'm trying to remember what came out. It's hard because I read so much stuff.
I know. Oh, do I know?
It's let's see, what weeks did I miss it? That was last week. That's what we're talking about now. So that's not it. 19th. Blah, 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 blah. Just real quick as I'm reading through the list of comics that came out so I can find anything. Nothing there I really want to talk about.
Okay. We should have like thinking music on.
I know.
Forget it. I just screwed up the whole damn melody.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if I actually read Superior Spider-Man number 12 or not.
He's on the raft.
Okay.
Spider-Slayer breaks free.
Yeah, I think I did read that. Just another. I mean, it was fine. It was nothing
spectacular.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
It wasn't superior.
Oh! Yeah. Family Business. Spider-Man Family Business was mentioned also. Speaking of news-wise, what's your take on that? Spider-Man's long-lost sister.
I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No, I did not. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, there's going to be a graphic novel that comes out in 2014 called Spider-Man Family Business, where they're going to introduce Peter Parker's sister. This is pre-Amazing Spider-Man 700, so it's going to be Peter Parker's Spider-Man, introduction of his sister. It's going to involve the Kingpin, and I forgot the artist, but the artist was the artist that did Secret Wars, the one that looks painted.
Okay.
And it looks good.
Wow.
Let me see if I can link you while you're looking through the comic books.
I had not heard that at all.
I completely forgot about it myself until right now when you were talking about Superior Spider-Man.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it now for you.
Will you do that? Find it, Chris. Find it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm doing as best I can, sir.
And while you're trying to find that, I don't think there was anything else that really jumped out at me that I really want to take the time to talk about.
Okay.
I think I missed one book that I thought I read, but I guess not. Alright, no, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so then let's get into some new books after I send you the link, which is right here.
Okay. Pretty fun right there it is. Oh, it's even on comic related. Wow.
Yeah! Our very own John Wilson wrote the article.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, since we've been talking about Batman and Superman, how about we start it all off with Batman Superman #1?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, as you and I both agreed before the show, Jay Lee.
No relation.
No relation whatsoever. Stanley. I wonder if there's a relation.
It's all a conspiracy. They're all related. It's an empire.
But Jay Lee's artwork actually wasn't as bad as I was thinking it would be, and it's due probably to the coloring.
Yeah, I would completely agree. I mean, I've seen his art. We both obviously have on other stuff, and it's looked a little bit different. And I think this particular colorist, which I believe was June Chung, correct?
Yes.
She did a phenomenal job. They should team up more.
I believe they will for the rest of the story arc. But what a lot of people didn't know. Is...
Oh, I'm sorry. I've got to interject. Family Business is co-written by Mark Waid.
Yes, it is.
Wow, nice. Okay, go ahead.
You're happy?
I'm happy.
Brant is a happy man right now. It's all live on the Related Recap. The colorist and artist actually changed. Pages 1 through 18 were drawn by Jay Lee and colored by June Chung. Mm-hmm. Pages 19 through 25 were drawn by Ben Oliver and colored by Daniel Brown.
No.
I know. It's not fully done by Jay Lee. And surprisingly, and I hate to say this, but I like Daniel, I want to make sure, Ben Oliver's artwork at the end of the book a little bit more.
Okay.
But it tries to stay true to Jay Lee's previous artwork.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a reason that there was a change in the art. It's because the story took a turn that they needed to kind of differentiate a little bit.
Yes.
So,
which is understandable, and it explains how Jay Lee, after this story arc, won't be drawing the comic anymore.
Yeah.
I have no complaints there.
But, you know, like we said, his art was actually really nice in this first part of the story.
Yes. But now that's the art part. Let's talk about the story. I understood it up until the middle of the book, when the artwork changed.
Yeah. Now to give everybody just a little bit of background, if you're not familiar, this is kind of the first meeting of Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. At first, anyway. And well, it still is later on, but it's kind of weird.
Yeah, they meet in their alter egos first,
mm-hmm.
and then they meet in their professional ones. And this is before Superman donned the Kryptonian armor suit, so it's like the jeans and the Superman shirt.
I have to point out, did you notice that Clark Kent said he's Clark Kent of the Daily Star?
Yes, I did, because he worked for the Daily Star first.
Right.
Which is awesome that they put that reference in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I don't know, I found Superman, this is Superman before he became, like, the Superman, and he's, like, the brash kind of, you know, just jump in and do whatever needs to be done, regardless of thinking first.
Right.
When the story took a big super, like, what's going on here, is when, out of nowhere, Superman from the past gets transported somewhere, and we see Batman from the present. We don't know where Batman from the past went. And then at the very end, the huge reveal of where exactly Superman went. And I have to... Is it okay if we spoil the last page? Because there's a reason for it.
Yeah, just spoiler warning, everybody.
Yes. Pa Kent shows up in the last page.
Yeah.
I have a question. DC Comics purposely killed off the Kents, you know, so they could go back to the original way Superman was.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, I've seen Pa Kent in every single Superman book so far. We've seen him in Superman, even though it was a dream. We've seen him in Action Comics, the last Morrison comic. And now we've seen him in Batman Superman, not even one issue in.
3 words for you. Man.
Bring the Kent back.
No, Man of Steel.
Let's not even reference that movie ever again and pretend it never happened.
I haven't seen it yet, so I will reserve judgment. But anyway, yes. But yeah, no, I mean, seriously though, I think that's why.
Most likely. But I feel, just bring the Kents back. Honestly, they are what humanized Clark in the first place. They need to be in his, forget it. People are going to be like, Chris, you're stuck on John Byrne's Superman, and yes, I am.
I agree. I think, the Kents were integral in the, well, I don't want to go into TV and film and everything, but they were integral in every incarnation of Superman, in my opinion. I think, unlike Batman and even Spider-Man, I think they're a needed core part of his supporting cast.
I agree. I have always agreed. Lois Lane and Clark Kent, the New Adventures of Superman, Lois and Clark, that TV show proved it, that, you needed the Kents.
Mm-hmm.
Superman needed the Kents. In the John Byrne's run in the 1980s through the 1990s, Death of Superman, for example, is one of them. The Kents were needed. The Kents are, they are what kept Clark human. And the fact that they killed them off right after prom night in the New 52, first of all, the way they killed them was stupid. It was a car accident, for those of you that didn't know. And secondly, just leave the Kents alone. They should have lived.
Yeah, I agree. So, I don't know. This book, though, this particular book, it's that turn was so weird.
Yeah.
That with, like you said, the present Batman and the past Superman mixing. We didn't mention that Catwoman.
Yeah, Catwoman was in the book. Yes, she was played.
Yeah.
Yep. But she was possessed.
Yeah.
We're gonna get introduced to a new supervillain here. You know that.
Oh yeah. So, it's interesting. I'm not sold on it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's interesting. I need to read a little bit more into it before I can pass judgment.
Yeah.
So,
I think one more issue would be sufficient.
Absolutely.
So, we'll see.
So, what would you like to talk about next, Brant?
Let's talk about all new X-Men.
Okay.
Is that okay? All right.
Absolutely.
We'll jump around here. All new X-Men.
First page says it all.
Yeah, the first page is it's one of those, okay, here's what's going on, and then 6 hours earlier, and then we get the whole issue, and then it goes back to that scene. First page, Jean Grey, full Phoenix, exploding out of her, and Wolverine, I think he says, oh, Jeannie, no. And that's kind of where things kick off, and then it's like, okay, 6 hours ago, and then it picks up from where the previous issue left off at that point, where they're in the plane heading to confront Mystique and all that. And then we learn what Mystique's real plan was, which was not what I was expecting. Was it what you were expecting?
No.
Okay. And I don't know how much...
I didn't understand the connection with the girl, because I hadn't read X-Men previous, so all I understood was that Jean and the father had something related, and that's what caused the Phoenix, or so, I don't even know. I was kind of a little...
that's not even what I was referring to.
Sorry, I must be lost then. I'm sorry.
You're jumping way ahead. It's okay.
I'm looking through the book as you're talking about it. That's why I must have jumped to a different part.
Okay, I was referring to and there's going to be spoilers throughout our review, not big spoilers, but like little minor spoilers and everything. But I was talking about Silver Samurai and the Hand.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I jumped to the wrong part when you were talking.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay.
So, yeah, that part of her plan, I wasn't expecting that to be part of her plan.
Her plan is very interesting.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
So, I mean, Madam Hydra, or not the Hand, I don't know why I said the Hand, Hydra as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, are you sure it's the Hand?
Yeah.
I see Madam Hydra there.
Yeah, it was Madam Hydra, the whole Hydra crew was there, and Silver Samurai, I'm sorry, I hate the new costume. Absolutely hate it. But
I agree.
It's so generic, and I didn't even know who it was until they said it, so I hate it. But anyway, so they're involved, and of course, Wolverine and the young X-Men show up, and it all breaks loose then, because obviously Sabretooth and Wolverine sense each other, or smell each other, whatever, and then it's a big battle. Jean Grey gets unleashed by a certain someone, who does have a connection to her past. I don't quite remember what it was, but I know there was a connection there. So that kind of unleashes the Phoenix Force, and that's where we start and where we end, pretty much. So
yeah.
So they gave us the ending of the book before the beginning, but it's very interesting getting to that point. So
yeah. So it leaves a lot to, and they also give you a page from Uncanny Avengers at the end where the M word is kind of like banished, or set up as a curse.
Yeah, they reprint the entire speech of Havoc's from Uncanny Avengers, because they did reference it earlier on in the issue, which I think honestly was a little bit, I don't know, it came off a little bit preachy to me, but
yeah,
I didn't think that part was necessary, but it is what it is. But yeah, it was the one thing I did find really interesting was there was a tiny moment between Wolverine and young Cyclops where I can't remember what exactly was going on, but Wolverine said something. It was about Sabretooth, saying that I can track Sabretooth, whatever, I can track them if I get a scent and everything. And Cyclops says, just out of the blue, but Sabretooth would know you're trying to track them then, right? So it was kind of that moment where Cyclops was showing his leadership skills a little bit, and Wolverine was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." It was just a little tiny moment. It was kind of like classic X-Men there. It was cool. But
yeah, it's too bad. Maybe one day Marvel will reboot the X-Men and it'll be back to the way that we all loved it back in the day.
Yeah.
Remember the 90s X-Men? Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't like the whole rubber, looks like he's wearing a swimming cap, Cyclops. I like the one where he actually had his hair out, and I don't know, the costume just spoke to me.
I kind of like the Astonishing X-Men costume for Cyclops, though.
Okay, yeah. I did like that one, too, I guess. I don't know, I just feel like he's a swim diver in that suit. It's like, just give him the oxygen tank and he's got the goggles and just go.
Yeah, I see your point there. But yeah, so it was a decent issue, another decent issue. It's just, I was thrown off a little bit by the Hydra and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
there's gotta be some hiccups.
Yeah, I think we all knew that the Phoenix was gonna play a part there, though. You can't have Jean Grey without the Phoenix. But that is interesting, though, because with what happened with the Phoenix before, where it split off, and then, it's kind of, I don't know.
Phoenix is back in the Marvel Universe, and I know a lot of people that aren't going to be happy when they hear Jean Grey Phoenixed out.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It'll have lasting effects on the Marvel Universe, I'm very sure.
Mm-hmm. So what's up next?
Up next, let's go back to DC Comics with Lar Flea's #1, another #1 issue this week. I got the #1s, I guess, unless you would like to take this.
No, go for it.
Basically, it's Lar Flea's origin. The whole beginning of the book is Lar Flea's origin, all the way until basically the end. He has this new servant guy. I love him. I don't know if you've ever watched The Nanny, but he reminds me of the butler from The Nanny a bit.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yep, a lot. And it's kind of funny how Lar Fleas is telling his story like, my life was so great, and then you're actually seeing the real past play out as he's saying, I had a loving mother, and my father was amazing, and they sucked.
Yeah.
He's like, my brothers and sisters loved me. They beat the crap out of him. Yeah. Then it goes into truth. It goes into truth where he was enslaved. Mm-hmm. From there on, the rest of the story is the truth, actually.
I love when the butler, that's just one, I don't know what his name is, but he calls him a butler. So I love when the butler says, so, great story. How much of that story was true? And Lar Flea's like, half?
One thing that was realized that I really would like to point out also was the butler mentions, like, how long have we been here? How long have you been talking? And he's like, for a while. Why? And he's like, your ring has no limits. You don't need a power battery.
Yeah.
You are the battery. And then later on, we actually see him engulfed in orange light.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he had mentioned earlier on, your ring only has 15 minutes of power left. And,
And it outlasted the 15 minutes.
Right. As they were quickly hurtling towards the creation point and destruction.
Yeah, and then we get introduced to yet another supervillain at the end of it, which I won't spoil this time.
Yeah.
And there's also the coming soon in Larfleeze, which actually interests me. I don't know if it interests you. Revolt of the Orange Lanterns.
Yeah. So
looks like Larfleeze's constructs aren't going to be so much constructs anymore.
I guess not. I thought it was interesting how he acquired the orange battery, the way they told that. So, I mean, in one sense, it was like, okay, it's an origin story, but at the same time, the way they did it was really creative. Like you mentioned, they were showing half the story while he was saying something completely different. The butler's commentary throughout it, though, was what really sold me on it.
Oh, I loved it. It was comical.
Yeah.
This is a comical but good book.
Yeah.
Worth it comical.
Yeah. So, I mean, without the butler, I think I would have hated this.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think the butler was needed for this one.
Yeah. So.
I'm sold. I'm sold on the series.
I don't know if I'm sold on the series, but I really did enjoy the issue. I've never really been a huge Larfleeze fan, so.
I have since the Christmas special. Maybe that's why. So. That's just me.
Yeah. That's cool.
Are you getting issue 2, though?
Yeah, I'll get issue 2. I enjoyed it enough, and I want to see what happens with that villain. So.
Yes. Absolutely. Alright, so, you're up, Brant.
Alright, let's stick with DC and head over to Vertigo and talk about the Wait number 2. Did you read this?
I read most of it.
Okay. Did you read the first issue, right?
Yes, absolutely, the whole first issue. And
So this issue, obviously the first issue was a lot of setup, and we got the big reveal of the what they call a merman kind of creature in this issue, or in the end of the issue. And then this issue kind of starts off with, okay, it's the realization that we have this creature on this submarine, or this not submarine, but this underwater base, and now we realize we've all been lied to while we're here, and what the heck's going on. So it's a bunch of explanation, trying to figure out what's what and everything. Turns out that they had only found this thing like 3 days ago, as they were trying to fend off some jellyfish, which was kind of funny. But and this thing came and attacked them and everything, and their bright idea was to bring it on board, and that led to some very interesting consequences. And the issue actually started up with another flashback back to prehistoric times, and showed kind of the evolution of this creature, how it actually ended up in the water in the first place, which was interesting.
There's definitely nudity in this book.
Yeah. Well, let me say it involved a mammoth and a shark, so I'll leave that to your imagination. No, I mean it was really interesting though to see it all break apart, break down to why each one of the doctors were there, each one of the experts were there, what the government hoped to get out of them, what kind of answers they were seeking, seeing where this creature kind of developed from, and seeing some of the abilities that this thing actually has, because we saw some kind of some psycho kind of stuff going on, playing with the mind, hallucinations and that kind of thing, that played into it a little bit. Mm-hmm. So it was the last page, which jumps back to the future, was interesting also. Yeah. I don't want to give it away too much, but Archer, who is the main character, obviously, of the book, during this whole explanation, she kind of went quiet. We got to see a little flashback of hers, and apparently this may not be her first encounter with this kind of creature. So.
Yeah, and that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, this series is really chalking up to be a big, a really huge enjoyment.
Yeah. I mean, I could totally see this being adapted as well, but I won't go there.
Go there, yeah, please. Everything that DC's adapted to movie.
Well, it's Vertigo, so it may be different. Who knows? But no, I can see it adapted into other media, but it's a really cool story so far, and it's got the horror elements to it. It's got, your thriller kind of suspense, what's going to happen, vibe to the whole thing. There's obviously more mysteries to be told that we're not aware of yet, and it's just fun watching it all unfold and watching the reactions of the different players.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the series.
I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what's up next?
The final book I have is Age of Ultron 10 AI.
AI.
And this is AI. And
AI.
this is because it's promoting Avengers AI. Ha ha! Oh,
Imagine that.
you cheeky little bastards there at Marvel. And Mark Waid writes it. Damn it. You real cheeky little bastards. Because you guys know that Mark Waid writes gold sometimes. So, this book is mainly about Hank Pym and him growing up and what led him to have his brain that thinks beyond, normality, and what led him into his ways of science, basically, and how he became Ant-Man, and how it turns out if he never became Ant-Man and all the good and bad things he's done came to fruition, that the entire world would basically be over. So It's kind of like the reverse of what they wanted you to believe in Age of Ultron, like the whole series. They wanted you to believe that without Ant-Man, the world would have been a better place, and then, who didn't see this coming? Without Ant-Man, the world would have been destroyed.
Please.
It's a promotion. And then you have Ant-Man just going back out on patrol, being Ant-Man, Giant Man, and whatever other man he's been throughout the years. And then in the end, it's the realization, hey, I'm somebody, as it's quoted here. I feel as if I've been given a second chance at everything. Sorry, my voice is cracked a little bit. As if this is the beginning of a whole new way of life for Dr. Hank Pym, who actually matters. Ha! Ha! Oh, and then there's an epilogue, and of course, to be continued in Avengers AI, #1, which comes out this week.
I'm sorry, any book that's going to promote Hank Pym as the savior of the universe is something that I would gladly pass.
Savior of just the earth.
Well, whatever. Still, bad enough.
Yes, very true. Very true.
Oh, Ant-Man and the Avengers movies. That's all I got to say about that. Anyway.
However, I didn't know as much as I did about. I didn't know really much about Ant-Man, so this book did help out a little bit. And I never bought Ant-Man season 1, so
okay.
This kind of helped a bit.
Ant-Man pre-beating his wife was nice. After that,
after that, he went to hell.
Yeah. So.
But he does kick himself for it to this day. He does, look back on it and regret.
Yeah, but every time they've written, I mean, it's the writer's fault too. I mean, honestly, every time a writer gets a hold of him, they still include that arrogance in him, and I hate that. It just makes him. It makes every time he regrets something just wash away. It doesn't matter. Anyway, my last book is X-Men #2, which I'm surprised you did not get. But
I gave up on it because I thought it was going in a direction where it was going to be like, oh, here we go.
What direction did you think it was headed in?
I thought it was heading in the direction of Jubilee kind of being like the stand-in mom, and then there's this guy that wants to kill a baby, and she's going to protect it, and then the baby's going to be something that's, not what it seemed. But now, from the previews, it actually showed that the baby's just a baby now. And that,
no, you might be right, actually.
Oh, I'm right! So, look! I called it!
But
the baby's evil!
Well, it's not yet, but we'll see. I'll explain. But I honestly really enjoyed this issue, though. It was a really fun issue. It starts off with Karima, who I'm not familiar with the character Karima, but anyway, as we saw in the last issue, she's kind of possessed by this Archaea, who is John Sublime's sister, who turns out kind of hitched a ride on the baby, and that's how she got to the complex, because apparently she can do that. And she takes over.
Explanation.
Yeah, she like wipes the floor with Beast, and then takes over the entire security system of the X-Men base, because apparently she's some kind of techno kind of character. She goes through all the protocols and just takes over the whole base, sends it into lockdown, and everything breaks loose, and all the ladies are trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to shut Sublime up so they can figure out everything, and they go into panic mode and try to figure things out. All the while, Jubilee's upstairs asleep. And tying into what you said, Rachel Gray was, or either Rachel Gray or Psylocke, I can't remember which one. One of them was reading Sublime's mind, and he just kept screaming over and over again, "Infant, infant." And I'll read this piece of dialogue. Rachel Gray says, "Psylocke, can you get a read on Jubilee?" Psylocke says, "She's in a room upstairs sleeping, but I'm not sensing an infant with Jubilee or anywhere else in the building." And then they show a picture of Jubilee sleeping with the baby. So obviously the infant, there's more to it, like you said.
It's not an infant. It's going to be like one of those stand-in kind of things.
Yeah, but they don't reveal that in this issue anywhere, so that's something to play out later on.
And then what's going to happen after this story arc, though?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Because at the end of this issue, it says to be concluded. So this.
There you go.
Next issue is the last one of the story arc. So Archaea is going crazy. Rogue finally breaks in. There's a big battle, but she takes down Rogue. Kitty Pryde has to get involved, and I don't want to give too much away, but basically Archaea gets away, and it's her modus operandi is to learn all she can, destroy what's in her way, and to move on to new targets. And so her leaving was on purpose. It was by design, and now they have to figure out what's going on. Rachel says Jubilee's at risk, so they have to protect her. They try to protect her, but Jubilee won't let them leave without her, so she wants to go with them to chase Archaea. And that's kind of where we left things. The baby's sleeping a lot. We get, a couple of shots, a couple of close-ups of the baby. Let's see. Is there anything else? Yeah, no, pretty much that's... yeah. The last page is... I really don't want to give that away. They're going through the wreckage, trying to find if any clues to anything, and something one of the characters finds. He says, "I found a thing," and I can't remember what this character's name is, but Roxy? Mm-hmm. Do you know who I'm talking about? I don't know. Anyway, he says, "I found a thing," and Kitty says, "Be specific, what thing?" And then the thing that they find is quite interesting. So, I don't know if you want me to spoil the end of it.
It's up to you, because I'm probably not going to get the book, because I called what was going to happen.
Okay. Minor spoiler, or actually major spoiler. Last page of the book. The sort of thing with a scary looking timer about to hit 0, and there's like 0.3 seconds left on this bomb that he's staring at. So, that's what Archaea left behind, and they're all standing right there, and it's about to go off. So.
Kitty Pryde phasing. They'll all be safe.
Well, she's not near all of them, so I don't know.
Oh, they're screwed.
But no, it was a fun issue. Regardless of your prediction, I really enjoyed the issue. It still feels like classic X-Men to me, and I'm enjoying the series.
Oh, it is classic. I want more of the X-Men in it. And I want Jubilee not to be a vampire anymore.
Well, there is that. And you mentioned the surrogate mother thing. I think John Sublime called her the baby's mom at some point, and there's like this reflective moment with her staring at the baby where she quietly says to herself, "He called me your mommy." So, yeah. You called it, but it was still fun.
Oh, I know. There's just certain books that like telltale what they're gonna exactly do, and this.
Yeah, I get that.
I'll probably jump in the next story arc again. Maybe just let this one play out, see what the next arc is going to be about, and then jump in again.
I am glad I read it though.
It sounds good. First of all, this was a very heavy week for me, so I had to make some cuts.
Right.
I got like 25 books.
Mm-hmm.
It would be 26 if I got that one.
No, I understand. I get it. It's fine. It was one of those that you were kind of on the fence about anyway. So.
Exactly. So I just I'm sorry. It's the over amount of books that really put the period on that series for me, at least for now.
Speaking of books, let's talk about what's coming out. Well, actually, this week that we'll talk about next week.
Yes.
Unless you had another book you want to talk about.
Nope. That's it. I still have more books to read. That's why my comic review is probably going to be coming out the exact same day that the recap's coming out.
Cool. All right, so we want to go top to bottom. You want me to start or you want to start?
You start.
All right. Start with Dark Horse. For me, wow, I'm not seeing anything from Dark Horse. So.
Same.
That was short for me.
Sorry, Brett.
That's okay.
DC Comics. I'm looking forward to Action. Earth 2 I'm on the fence with. Green Lantern I'm looking forward to. Movement, maybe. I don't know. We have to actually do Movement in the Green Team next week, guys, because I didn't have a chance to read Movement number 2.
And I haven't read Green Team either, so.
Oh, there you go. And,
Bless you.
Thank you. I said thank you. And I think the Trinity of Sin books, Pandora and Phantom Stranger, I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Batwing. Because I want to see what happens after that last issue. Green Lantern, definitely. And, yeah, I'm curious about the Trinity of Sin books as well. So that moves us to IDW. For me, G.I. Joe Special Missions number 4 is pretty much the only thing.
Yeah, same for me. Maybe Monstrosity for the Transformers. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Image. There was something. There was something from Image.
There was something in there.
Invincible Universe number 4.
Okay. I've not read any of that series yet.
You will like number 4. Without any kind of spoiler, I enjoyed a lot.
Okay. I'm behind on a lot of my Image series, like on a lot of my comic series, period. But so, yeah, I would say Thief of Thieves, but I'm way behind on that. I can't bring myself to read a Skull Kickers book, even though every single number 1 that comes out, I'm curious, and I'm kind of wanting to check it out, but at the same time, I just can't. So that takes us into Marvel. And you already mentioned Avengers AI.
Are you going to get it?
No, I didn't say I was going to get it. I'm just saying it comes out. I don't know about that one. Iron Man. I'm still curious about the story. Too. So I'll keep reading that. I have to admit, Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I'm going to check out the first issue. And I'm actually curious about the What If AVX.
I skipped that.
Okay.
I'm done with AVX. I think they're just really trying to push it out there, and they're trying to get every last dollar on that series. So I'm just not going to give them every last of my money, every last of my dollars. So sorry. Venom 37, I'm looking forward to. Something I'd like to mention, but I'm definitely not buying, is they're making an omnibus for all the Marvel Nows.
Yeah.
for it. I saw it and then it disappeared in my. Oh yeah, Marvel Now Omnibus, $100.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Avengers AI. After reading Age of Ultron AI, I'm looking forward to. I decided to skip Superior Foes of Spider-Man #1,
Okay.
and if Mike was here, he'd be like X-Men Legacy 13.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's about it.
I gotta ask you, Deadpool kills Deadpool?
Ha! Ha! You're funny.
Did you see the variant cover with the ponies?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
That was funny, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely, but no.
Yeah, no, I agree. Alright.
Oh, I got.
Nothing out of the indies?
Indies Grim Fairy Tales Oz #1 looks really interesting.
Okay.
I'm going down the list. It's a Mark Waid's Green Hornet #3. I'm really looking forward to that.
Surprised you didn't say Garfield.
I missed it?
Yep.
Did I miss Garfield?
Number 15?
I'm looking forward to Garfield as long as Lisa colors it. Or if I ain't reading it this time, and I won't buy anymore. And The Shadow #15. Yeah.
Okay. For me, Fathom Elite Saga from Aspen. I'll agree on Mark Waid's Green Hornet, of course. I'm curious about the Owl #1 from Dynamite.
Yeah, actually that too. Yeah.
So I might check that out, and let's see if there's anything else. Shadow Man from Valiant comes out.
I have to catch up on Shadow Man.
Yeah. And I think that might be it for me. Yeah. Alright.
Okay, so.
Definitely not as heavy a week this week, right?
No, thank God. Please.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to mention, and the book is actually coming out this week as well from DC Comics, Team 7. For those of you like myself who said, why would I want Team 7, and ignored the series, and it ended in 8 issues, and I never cared to even look at it, we were talking about this on not only Related Recap, but on Zone 4. I was talking about Mr. Majestic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying eventually Mr. Majestic has to show up in the DC universe. Apparently, nobody listens to me when I say I'm waiting for Mr. Majestic to show up, because in Team 7, issues 5 through 8, plus issue 0, he showed up. He was even on the flip cover, the gatefold cover. And nobody told me. So this week I will also be getting the Team 7 trade paperback to catch myself up on Mr. Majestic. Thank everybody so much for telling me. It took, actually, you know who told me? Philly Superman Jay told me. We were talking last night for a little bit. He said, you know, you're talking about Mr. Majestic. I'm like, yeah, it's too bad he never showed up in the DC. He hasn't shown up yet. He's like, yeah, he did. I'm like, no, he didn't. He's like, yeah, he did. Team 7. I'm like, what? What? And then he showed me actual previews and the little excerpts, you know, the coming, not the coming attraction, the description of the book.
Mm-hmm. Solicitation copy.
Yeah. Went completely under my radar because he was not on a cover until the second to last issue, and it was a gatefold cover, so you had to look up the gatefold cover, and who is going to look up the Team 7 gatefold cover? Nobody. So, thank you. I missed out on the entire 4 or 5 issues that Majestic made his appearance, so now I just figured I'll buy the trade paperback instead and get the whole series.
Yeah.
So Mr. Majestic tells you that went under the radar. He's in the universe!
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, that shows you how much we read Team 7.
Well, we skipped it because, come on, the book sounded stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
And now it wasn't stupid. Or maybe it was stupid, just the Majestic parts weren't.
So, yeah, that's... Are there any Wildstorm characters left that they haven't shown at this point?
Nope. They've shown them all.
Because as I mentioned earlier in the show, I read through, like, the first over a year's worth of Teen Titans and realized that a bunch of Wildstorm characters popped up throughout that.
Yep. So. Well, the Wildstorm universe and the DC universe are officially merged as one, and this is stupid.
Oh, I know that, yeah. It's
stupid.
Just, you know, I mean, they were, at the launch, they were really particular with which ones they released. You know, that we had Grifter and we had Voodoo and, just a few here and there, but it wasn't like everybody. Now we got all the Gen 13 kids running around, and it's crazy. Spartan.
Yep. And when they did the issue 19 of Stormwatch, they brought even more Vertigo characters out.
Did you see what they did with Warblade?
No.
Wow. He looks completely different. Anyway.
All I know is that this merger kind of hurt both universes, in my humble opinion. But I've got used to the new DC universe now, so.
For all all my fellow wrestling fans out there, but Chris, I know you'll appreciate that. It's kind of like when WWE bought WCW, what happened to all the WCW wrestlers?
Right, exactly.
Those are the Wildstorm characters, yes.
Yeah. Bill Goldberg. I'll never forget how they really screwed Bill Goldberg in WWE.
So. That's going to wrap up our show. No poll this week.
I have a question, Brant. I couldn't get the poll from 2 issues back. Could you please just give the results of the last poll?
The Superman one?
Yes. I could not find it for the life of me. I couldn't find a way to get on it.
There were 4 votes.
There were 4 votes.
4 whole votes, yeah. You were what?
I was one of the 4 votes.
I was too.
So, we're not doing polls anymore.
Exactly. Let's see. As I pull it up here, the results. That's the poll. Where's the results? There's the results. Analyze results. The results were, first let me read the question. Are you looking forward to Superman Unchained by Scott Snyder and Jim Lee, out in stores today? And looks like 3 of the votes were for leaving for the comic shop now. So that's us 2 and 1 other. And then the 4th vote was other, please specify, and that specification was, we'll buy it, but I missed the real Superman, the dude with the red trunks. So yeah.
And that guy actually posted on the Facebook page who he was, so it wasn't anonymous.
Yeah, he did. He said, I don't have to. That was actually our friend Dan Sin, I believe, from Zone 4. If I'm not mistaken. And if I am, I apologize. But whoever it was, I remember him, I did read that, and he said, basically, I don't have to be anonymous to give my thoughts on this. If I'm not mistaken. Is that the one?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. But unfortunately, the polls obviously didn't work for you guys, because you guys don't want to do a poll. So either we'll figure out a different way to interact with you guys, or one day you'll start knocking on our door saying, hey, you don't interact with your listeners, and then we're going to say, remember the polls?
Yep.
Well, you didn't interact with us, so we stopped interacting with you.
Yeah. And it was our good friend Dan Sin from a good Zone 4 Legionnaire. So, yes. Thank you, Dan, for participating in our poll.
Yes.
You and whoever the other anonymous person was.
Probably Jay.
Probably.
Knowing Jay, it was Jay.
So yeah, for all of you that were participating in the polls, thank you. But for now, at least, they are done. And that's going to wrap up our show, I believe.
Yep. Anything you'd like to mention before we wrap it up?
No, just if you have any comments for us, any questions, anything you want us to talk about, you want to share your thoughts on any books that we talked about, you can email either one of us, Brant at comicrelated.com or Chris at comicrelated.com, and let us know.
Yeah, and as far as my updates, you can check out Dark Avenger, which is my channel for my updates, Brooklyn Boys for Brooklyn Boy updates, and all I have to say is, damn it, Brant, it's good to have you back. Don't ever do that again, because without you around, man, everything went to hell. If anything, I learned that I am not ready to lead my own podcast yet, especially because I can't post on the podcast network. I had to post on YouTube, and that wasn't fun.
It worked out well, though.
It did. Mike was a great co-host, both the Hall of Toys and the Related Recap.
Yes.
But nothing can replace the true dream team that is me and you on both shows. You were missed. So don't do it again.
I'll try not to. I missed being here, and thank you for the kind words. And thank you personally for me to Mike for filling in. I appreciate it. You did a great job. And though I teased you early on, I will give you a rock on.
Yeah.
So as we close, I'm not editing that out. As we close.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
I was joking. And that's going to wrap up the show. Before we do get out of here, of course, we got to thank the official band of the Related Recap, the Yellow Belts.
And also, by the way, Brant, Eric says hi.
Hi, Eric. And, of course, check out all the other podcasts on comicrelated.com. In my absence, I missed a bunch of podcasts, but I backdated everything, so everything should be up there for all the different shows. A lot of cool shows coming up, as Chuck mentioned earlier in the show. And that's going to wrap us up, so if it's comic-related,
we'll stick a fork in it and spin it around like spaghetti.
All right. Bye, everybody. Now I'm hungry.
Bye, everybody.